Six Gun Productions. New media, new rules.
This is Geek News Radio. Broadcast 35 for Wednesday, March 29th, 2017. More mass, more effect.
You're listening to Geek News Radio, episode 35. I'm Dave in Birmingham.
And I'm Fab in Isernhagen in Germany.
We're your boys. We're making the podcast. We're back.
Oh, we're
talking
just
about video games.
Just us.
Yeah.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It
When was it
has
last?
been a little while. When I was putting the feedback in, I was like, I swear I remember reading these tweets 2 weeks ago. And we hadn't talked about them because we've not done a podcast in a while.
Well, it's not that long. It's been.
Yeah, we're still going to hit 2 in a month, hopefully.
Yeah, we will. Like the last one was out almost exactly 2 weeks ago, so
That's not too bad.
looks good. It just feels maybe I don't know. It's lots of. I don't know about you, but I have lots of stuff going on right now, so it's
Yeah, I've had like a just boringly long 2 weeks. Just every day, counting one day off. Like, oh man, Iceland soon. We're going to Iceland.
Oh, you're going to the Eve thing.
Yeah,
don't
it's
you?
so there's 5 days till I fly to Iceland. I'm like, oh my god, I fucking need this holiday. I need it so much.
Completely forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So today, sorry.
I'm just hyped.
Hyped. Well, I don't know how hyped today will be. Today it's just Dave and me, and we're going to talk about video games, specifically Mass Effect. You've been playing Andromeda, right?
Yeah, I have.
And I've been doing the Dave thing. Highly topical and highly in tune with the times. On the weekend, I started playing Mass Effect, the original.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1, which I think came out in 2007.
I've been owning. Is that long? Is it 10 years?
I'm Mass Effect.
Looking this up.
1.
To the Googles.
To the Google machines. Yeah, November 16th, 2007.
Right, almost
Wow.
10 years.
Old.
Interesting.
Jesus.
Well, yeah. So Mass Effect. I have owned 1 and 2 for ages. I picked them up in the Steam sale at some point. I know that it's probably. I knew that it was probably my kind of game. I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
Because, me, big sprawling RPGs, especially BioWare stuff, I kind of lose myself in it, so I need time.
Yeah. So
Which I don't have right now, but I've just thought, well, everybody's playing Mass Effect, so I better get in on the bandwagon.
In terms of like the big, what I feel like are the biggest kind of like most sprawling one, it's definitely Mass Effect 1. Every other one has consistently streamlined the experience. So you're at what I believe is the most fab kind of Mass Effect
me too.
game, and I'm now currently at the most Dave one because
Chris Thurston's been talking about Mass Effect on Crate and Crowbar since Crate and Crowbar existed. So I have even never having played it, I have a very I have a high level overview of the series, I think.
Yeah.
From that. By the way, speaking of Crate and Crowbar, have you listened to the latest episodes?
I've not listened to them in ages, but like I've been running out of podcasts, so I should probably just subscribe to those again.
You should. They have a new thing. Like Pip has a book of grudges, where from the dwarves in Warhammer,
so
where
good.
people write in. Well, it started with I think their grudges, but people are writing in their grudges, and I think we should have that too. And I think we should one-up them as we have one-upped them with discord.sixgun.org. Mm-hmm. Which they don't have a subdomain.
Actually write them in a physical book.
I need to check if discord.sixgun.org still works. Yeah, it works. Yes, we need I think I need to buy like a book.
Yeah.
I still have the Linux Outlaws. Whoa, that was my mic boom. Sorry. The Linux Outlaws red book.
Yeah, but you were like, I'm writing this in my book.
Yeah, we could maybe use that.
We could.
I'll think about it. I think a book of grudges is great.
So is the idea that the listeners send in their grudges, or we write down our grudges?
We can have both. I think. I think we just collect general grudges. I think it suits me a lot. Having a book of grudges.
Yeah, Grumpy Fab.
Grumpy Fab on the grudge throne.
It's good. I think we should do it.
I think I'm always for ripping off ideas of other podcasts.
Oh yeah,
if they're good.
There's a couple of things we should probably mention before we dive into the Mass Effect chat. What are you drinking, Fab? What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking red wine, just from our vineyard, just nice, and left over from the weekend. Still a ton of red wine, so I'm drinking that.
Very nice. I attempted to make an old-fashioned, but with gin. Historically, this has gone really quite well. It's my favourite drink, but it turns out that's just because I really like some gins on their own.
So old-fashioned again is...
It's like bitters, like Angostura bitters.
Oh yeah. They do that at my favorite bar. Actually.
Yeah, and they do it like with bourbon whiskies normally, but gin with a nice gin is is top tier drink. Turns out Tanqueray number 10 gin is poor gin. It is bad.
I really like Tanqueray.
Man, it's not good. I don't like it at all. It goes nice in like a gin and tonic maybe, but not when you're just like drinking it with like sugar and bitter stuff. I don't know. It's not as good as like a Hendrix or a Brecon gin or any of the other ridiculously hip gins we've been buying. We've been buying like super, like a thing you can buy in like a corner shop. It's not my style.
Have you bought a gin Soul yet?
No, not
yet. Can you import that? You need to try that.
I probably can. I will.
It's good gin.
Make it my mission.
It comes in a nice bottle as well, so it's very good for like putting flowers in.
Yeah, I've decided I'm going to start making my own gin because it's just basically vodka and then you apply botanicals to it.
Come on, you can't use vodka. You need to be scientific about this. Just use like lab alcohol. That's how you do it. It's got to be, it's got to be tasteless. Like, absolutely tasteless.
Man, vodka's pretty tasteless. It's going to be okay.
No, vodka's only tasteless if it's really expensive. Like cheap vodka actually tastes like, I don't know, fish or something. It's weird.
Cheap vodka tastes like fish.
Well, if you just drink it pure.
I suppose, mate. I'll give you. It's not watery. It's got like a taste to it. But once you've added juniper berries, bam, you've got gin, and then you can add like cinnamon or like some other shit, bay leaves, mate. I don't know. I'm gonna like get tiny bottles and I'm gonna put like random shit in.
You know that I just remembered that my local there in Hamburg does old fashions and fashion stuff, and then you can like specify the alcohol. And I like them do it with Lefroy. They do a really nice one with Lefroy. It's actually quite good.
Man. Yeah, I had it for the first time in a bar in Birmingham, and like I was ordering it for someone else initially, and I was like, I'll have an old fashioned, and they were like, what are these options? I'll just have whatever is the normal one, please. Just have whatever you do normal.
The Lefroy one, you can only drink that last. After that, you can only drink more of that or pure Lefroy. There's no other.
There's no turning back.
No.
Other thing, we're brought to you by Bite Mark Hosting.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh, we're so good at that.
No, you are. I'm shit, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to just do the other topics before we just talk about Mass Effect and shout at each other for a while?
Well, yeah, I think we should do it in the order that I kind of put in the notes.
Cool.
I think that's a good order. So you should talk about you went to Battle Beast.
I went to Battle Beast.
Which is ABBA.
Yeah, it's totally
mixed with metal or something.
Yeah, it's so like how Twilight Force style themselves as adventure metal. I think Battle Beast style themselves as dance metal. Really, it's like if you took like disco music and then we're like, what if you put like a really fierce lady who shouts and then like super overdriven guitars, and it's so good. As part of this, I found the best gig venue in Birmingham is in Wolverhampton.
What?
Yes. So, like, in Birmingham, like, all of the generally... Like,
seriously, there's nothing good in Wolverhampton. I've been there.
On a tangent, like, I went to Wolverhampton and I spent, like, an evening there, and I completely understand, like, lug radio now. Like, they were doing this to, like, fucking get out of Wolverhampton. Because they're all from Wolves Lug, aren't they, really?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, apparently.
Good. I sort of had some thought. I was like, maybe I'm wrong.
The first Occam was in Wolverhampton because of that.
Yeah, so there's this place called the Slade Rooms, and it's the actual venue is like wider than it is deep. It's that small. Like it feels like the stage is about as like 2/3 bigger than the like depth of the room. So you get really close to the stage, and you can get maybe like 200 people in it max, maybe. So I went there last week, and I saw Battle Beast, and they were supported by a Japanese melodic death metal band called Guys. They were amazing. I feel like I was maybe the only fan there. There were a couple of really keen people at the front. But I was like, oh man, no, these guys are good. And then a terrible metal band called Majesty from Germany. Oh god. See, like,
Okay,
I was there doing my classic gig thing of being like, I'm going to gig. I'm going to subtweet the band. So I was just like tweeting.
Oh
about
god,
them.
their logo
Yes.
already is really shit.
So basically, my thought was I was standing there at the back, having a chat with the official photographer because he was using me as a tripod, and
Oh yeah, they're influenced by Accept. They can't be good.
yeah, I was like looking at them and going, "This is why Fab didn't like metal, or at least didn't think he liked it, because he like saw people like this."
Yeah,
And it's
one of them has
they're
a
so
like
bad.
they were like Joachim West except the
Yeah.
shit.
except like bad, and they're not as buff. Like it was really quite like shit. The lead guitarist, like you can tell, like when he leaves that band and goes to do another thing, he's gonna be great because he like was the only one who like got the people going, and it was actually he was quite good, but everyone else was like, oh, it's mediocre at best.
The bass player, like I'm just going off the Wikipedia, but the bass player looks like he's competing in fucking European Song Contest.
Yeah. It honestly, I want it like. They came on, like every song is like, like there's the Piss Take Sabaton songs that are like, oh man, Metal Crew and all that jazz. Every song is like that. It's just
God.
a joke. It's like there's no actual good bits in between, which I thought was terrible. But yeah, it's great. The whole venue in the evening was great because I had a chat with the photographer. I went there on my own and I did the mental maths, and I think I've been to more gigs on my own now than I have been with people, which is, I don't know, feels all right. But yeah, the Slade Lounge is like, honestly, maybe my favourite venue I've been to, because it's kind of got the thing that the Dublin place had, and there's like a pub bar area that's separate from the thing, so you can go get your drinks and you can talk to a human being, and you can go in, and then it's like really up close, and it's like fucking loud. It's great, and it's like a 2-minute walk from the train station, so you can get the last train home and not be stuck in Wolverhampton overnight, which was a minor fear. But yeah, it's good. I would totally recommend Battle Beast if they are around. I think they're continuing their Europe tour now, so potentially people can go see them. If not, I think they're done with the UK now. They're back in France.
I kept
really
looking. Kept looking at this Majesty thing. I gotta close that tab now. It's not good.
Yeah,
Not good. They're like Accept but more shit, which that's what they look like. Like less pro. Like when Accept is like pro shit, they're like amateur shit.
low rent, except
Low rent shit. Exactly. That's what it looks like. Oh yeah, I saw. I don't know. Games Workshop is like completely reversing any decision they've made in the last 10 years. Apparently,
yeah, you can
they
just
now have
buy
merchandise
bare t-shirts, just
at
fucking
Spreadshirt.
tons of them.
Like-
There's like
This is-
there's more Blood Bowl t-shirts than there were t-shirts.
I actually like their Blood Bowl t-shirts. They have like team shirts.
Yeah, I can get like Griff Oberwald in women's version.
They have a shitload of 40k stuff as well. This is weird because it's like Spreadshirt. You'd think, they produce everything else themselves. That you'd think they would do.
I mean, they're not a t-shirt company, really, are they?
Well, I don't know.
They sell t-shirts, but it's always like low volume numbers. Whereas this is just like, yeah, use our IP.
But you'd think they were big enough that they could just like hire like Spreadshirt something like we would do, like for this show. It's not like, oh, we're Games Workshop.
I mean, yeah,
you'd
but
think
they've
they
got
could go
their
to
own,
India and say like, we need a lot of these shirts.
Maybe. I just wonder if like they've decided to like consolidate this, and all of the merch, Spreadshirt, like t-shirt stuff is going to be from them going forward. And fair play, like they look really cool. The Horus Heresy Blood Angels one looks pretty fire.
Some of them are a bit shit though.
Yeah, I'll give you like the Free Blade one. Basically, just is like the cover art of a book, like in a square.
Oh, there's some with just like text, and you have no idea that it's. Actually...
Oh, but have you seen the How to Build a Space Marine one?
No,
it's amazing. So it's on. So it's basically listing all of the other organs they have. The oculobe and the progenoids and the black carapace, and they've got ticks next to them, and the last one is fear, and it's a cross. Like, that's a reference. I get that. That's good. The Tau one is nice. It's got hexagons.
And it doesn't say Space Marine on it, which is awesome. So like people wouldn't know what the fuck.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't immediately think what a fucking nerd.
Yeah, some of them are nice actually.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of cool. There's quite a lot of ladies ones, like women or people who want to wear women's-sized t-shirts. It's just like, oh man, they can have t-shirts that aren't just like massive on them. That's amazing.
Well, they don't. Almost... If Katie was on, she'd be ranting about that. They're all round necks, though. Fucking hates round necks.
Yeah, I know. There's quite a lot of people that hate round necks. I'm all right with them. But they've got like tank toppy things. They've got like. It's good. I'm good. It's nice. They're also not ridiculously priced, but they are in dollars, so I assume I would get hit by import tax very quickly.
No, it's Spreadshirt. You can just click at the top. You click EU shirts, EU store, and then in pounds.
Oh,
well, Spreadshirt's a German company, I think.
Oh,
originally.
Oh man, that's a depressing price conversion.
Let me look at the legal.
They've basically just changed the fucking symbol.
Well,
the same price.
Yeah, Spreadshirts actually are then German. I remember it correctly. They're from Leipzig.
Yeah, so that's cool. More power to them. Presumably, it's going to be a nicer kind of shopping experience than it is like on Games Workshop's website, because it's a company that has web developers that are good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for Games Workshop.
No, we're not sorry. Your website's shit.
Yeah.
You can't find anything. Like since they redesigned it, at least looks better, but it's like you can't fucking find anything.
Yeah, so I was ridiculous. I was looking to see if they still had Sisters of Battle stuff, like because I remember it coming out and being like, "Oh man, that was cool," and I thought it just went out of stock because I was like, "Oh, is it still knocking around?" And I went to their website and I was like, "It's fundamentally the same layout as it has been since I was 10." And I was like looking at Warhammer on the school computer.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how do I find anything anymore?
Oh, we were ranting about that for ages. And,
for 5 years now, we've been like, how do you... Just pain in the ass.
The thing is, I shouldn't really complain because the search is shit. Because, on Heise, the search is shit as well. But there's a crucial difference. Our website's, indexed really well by Google. So you can just do the site... thing. With Games Workshop site, you can't do that because they somehow screwed up all the site, the metadata. So Google can't get good metadata, so you can't find anything either. It's ridiculous. They probably have robot text enabled and Google can't index it or something.
No, I don't think they do.
We need to defend our IP. Engage the robot text.
I'm checking this now. I'm checking.
Maybe their website.
No, they don't. They don't have that. But it's very shit. You've got a couple of links and then
we don't want to be found by Google.
Basically, you just search for Games Workshop and the third thing down the list is a competitor of you could buy Warhammer from these other shops instead. At least on mine, I get Wayland Games and Element Games. Although I'm pretty sure I've ordered from both of those, so that's some weird Google, whatever it's called.
I'll get Bell of Lost Souls second. No, I Warhammer Community and then Bell of Lost Souls.
Oh, okay, wow, man, this is the reality distortion field.
No, it's personalized search. Also tells me GW stores in Hanover. No shit, closed now.
The Birmingham one is also closed right now.
Well, anyway, in other news, let's get into the space news. Non-Mass Effect space news are Elite Dangerous. And they said they would put Trappist 1 in. Mm-hmm. They have done now. they've done so now. It's now in the beta. And
And you shared a little video of some guy comparing what was beforehand and what was after the update.
It's Obsidian Ants, a very famous Elite Dangerous YouTuber.
I don't really like him. I don't know.
See, I like him.
Yeah,
but like this isn't this is not meant as an insult, right? Mm-hmm. It's just personal taste. I find his voice is fucking annoying. It drives. I want to kill. If I listen to him for more than 20 minutes, I want to kill somebody because he has this like he's got this really it's like sonorous voice, and he's really like chill, and he just talks like this, and it just sounds like. I can't deal with that.
I mean, maybe
I want shouty people. I want like the Jimquisition. That's my kind of YouTuber.
Yeah, the guy's just I don't know. The video just like I could.
Total Biscuit. Total Biscuit's amazing.
He could have just like posted. I felt like the content of the video would have been better posted as like an Imgur gallery. To be honest,
well, he's a YouTuber for fuck's sake.
I suppose it's
yeah.
It's got to crank out those videos for the algorithm.
He's pretty like his quality. I think is pretty good. I just don't like his voiceover stuff, but that's just like personal preference. I guess people probably like he's got a voice that most people will probably prefer to mine. So I can't complain. Oh God, have you? By the way, speaking of voice, have you finished Taboo yet?
No, because after the last episode, I got quite continuously drunk and then watched like 3 or 4 episodes into the early hours of the morning, and I don't really remember where I left off.
I have to start over again. I think
I've got to like work out where
I watched it through for the 3rd time on the weekend.
Bonkers,
with Katie, and she really liked it too. And it's like you still discover new stuff. It's so fucking dense that you still like discover stuff.
Yeah, I encountered some bits, so I was like, I require subtitles. What is going on?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of mumbling.
Maybe indicative of my mental state more than necessary.
No, there's a lot of mumbling going on. And
okay, maybe I feel a little bit better.
We watched it with subtitles because Katie wanted that, and it actually helped me understand some stuff that I hadn't understand. But like if you watch it with subtitles, it just becomes so much more obvious how much of the show is just It's not only him. It's like Jonathan Pryce. It's like he ends sentences with you need to think about this.
It's so good.
Am I the only guy in this company who isn't a fucking idiot? So good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the bits that I watched of Taboo so far.
Really good.
But then, last week I ended up watching the lots of anime.
I actually have to see Peaky Blinders now because I learned that the guy who created Taboo, like one of the guys, is the guy who created Peaky Blinders.
I remember that coming out and being like, I do not care about this. But then I saw stuff like a trailer for Taboo. I was like, meh. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should watch.
You are wrong. Yeah,
maybe. But I've got so much giant robot anime to watch. That. I watched all 3 Evangelion films in like 24 hours. God, fucking hell. That is not a thing any human should do, Fab.
You're such a fucking millennial.
So like the first film. So what it is I'm not going to explain. I'm not going on like a Metal Gear Solid 5 ramble trying to explain the plot because I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand.
I lost the plot during that several times, and then listened back to it when I was releasing and doing the show notes, and I lost the plot again.
Perfect, man. So Evangelion has like a lot of biblical stuff.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, there's like angels and there's some weird secret plot. And the first 2 films I was like, this is okay. I can cope with this level of batshit. And then the 3rd film is just like, so imagine 14 years have passed and everything is turned on its head and you now no longer have any point of reference. It's like, I regret my decision. This was a bad film. But I'm eagerly awaiting the 4th one to come out eventually. Because fan service, giant robots, it's fun. It's really pretty. I posted many screenshots on Twitter and had good times with the booze.
Well, that's the most important thing. Speaking of things you are wrong about, let's get into Mass Effect.
Yes.
Or as I like to call it, Mass Derp.
Or as like me and people call it, we call it Ass Effect because it's all about shagging in space.
Well, the first one, actually, as far as I can tell. Okay, I have to preface this, right? Before we get into this, the only Mass Effect I've played to date is the beginning of the first game. I'm just out of the Citadel.
Okay.
And just landed on my first planet.
Long road ahead of you.
Yeah, which is one of the planets that you like, the one that gets in the colony that gets invaded by the Geth. So I started on that. Although I'm not a complete newbie, I've read a lot about this. I've seen a lot of let's play footage of Andromeda. Mm-hmm. And of course, I've seen the GIFs and everything. And also, I'm by no means a BioWare noob. Like, I'm a big Dragon Age fanboy. Yeah. I've played KOTOR a lot. So yeah, I just want that as a preface.
Yes. So Andromeda is the fourth game in the Mass Effect sort of saga. The first three saw you playing as Commander Shepard in various roles. This one is sort of set 600 years in the future, and also in another galaxy, so it's entirely separate.
It's kind of they left at the time when Mass Effect 2 was going on, I think.
Yes, so I think it's well before. Spoilers, we're going to spoil shit.
Yeah, come on. It's like this game's 10 years old.
I'm probably going to spoil Andromeda.
It's half as old as you.
Fuck, that's depressing. No, it can't. No, fuck off. So it's sort of set around end of 1, sometime in 2 period. There is this thing called the Initiative.
So then apparently they know the Reapers are turning up and they're like, let's get out of here.
We should probably go to another galaxy because this one's potentially fucked, which ends up being a bit of a plot in 3. So they send colony ships. Everyone goes in stasis for 635 years, and you come out of stasis.
Can I interrupt you for a second before you go into that? By all means. There's one question I've always had, and this is spoilers. Like, if you don't want spoilers for Mass Effect, don't listen to this fucking podcast, okay? Listen to the next one, because this is going to be like the fucking spoiler cast. So,
right, I remember listening to a Mass Effect 1 spoiler cast in 2008.
Right, see, I mean, this is like, okay, so don't fucking complain, right? I'm not going to take you seriously if you do that. I have a question for you, Dave. Can you explain to me the original ending of Mass Effect 3 and what they changed after everybody complained?
No, because don't. Right, so the way I rank Mass Effect games is that 2 is the best, 1 is the second best, and 3rd I don't really care about.
Right.
Andromeda currently is sitting on par with 2 because it's basically Mass Effect 2 again.
So you've never finished 3?
I don't really know which version I've played. I assume I've played the edited one, so I don't really know. The crux, I believe, I'm sure Rob is going to correct us in the tweets, but the crux of it is none of the decisions you made in Mass Effect 1 through 3 really affected anything at the end of 3, because it's such like a kind of like you have to kind of pick, basically like the Reapers have fucked it. You have to destroy the Mass Effect relays to save the day, and it's sort of how that's all going to pan out, like who you're going to end up with. And
okay, so the Reapers are so strong that you need to destroy the relays so they can't go anywhere or something.
Basically,
do they actually use the relays to go?
Yeah. So the agents of the Reapers do. I think they do use the relays.
Right.
I think so. In 2, like there's some factions that work for the Reapers, and they definitely use the relays. But yes, you kind of have to like pick in which way the kind of not the universe ends, but the way it's kind of reset, because everyone basically is going to end up separated from each other. So, and the relays are going to be fucked. So
the relays are fucked no matter what happens.
Sets back humanity.
So that's like
people for thousands of years.
the different colors everybody talks about. So there's like
So basically, at the end, there's like 3 buttons that you can you pick one of them, and none of your decisions really matter in any way. There's a bit of a cutscene to like sort of wrap up how everything happened, which I'm kind of okay with, because sort of like in the way the plot is arranged, like it's such a big thing that's happening. Like no human scale actions are really gonna matter too much. Like you weren't ever gonna like beat the Reapers just like fucking shooting them and bam, they're dead, and then it's all gonna be fine.
Right.
Like I don't think that would have been a satisfying ending at all. And then if you think about like how complicated, like how many decisions there are to make, it's impossible to make every decision matter terribly, because you'd end up with like billions of endings, like genuinely billions of endings if every decision somehow impacted the final thing. So yeah, people got butthurt that like, oh, it's a wash out of an ending, but I think no matter what they did, there'd be grumpy people.
so. And I mean, people were grumpy, and then they changed something. Do you know what they changed?
I can't remember. It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I think they just added more explanation of what happened. To be honest, I'm very willing to be corrected on that. So yeah, there's 3. By the time.
See, I just want to know, because I always hear about the big thing, but I wasn't playing Mass Effect. Like there was a big outcry, but I never cared.
Like, much
back
like
then.
there's a big outcry about Andromeda, I'm sort of left going, yeah. Really
Well, there's an outcry for a reason, but we'll get to that later.
So yeah, like Andromeda starts off well after that's happened, but you're in another galaxy, so nothing really is going to affect it at all. There was like a preliminary group of people who went to set up basically the Citadel, but in Andromeda Galaxy. You arrive. You pick.
Okay, sorry, I just found this. Sorry to interrupt you all the time. This is the last time. I just read this. This the extended cut is the thing they released, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking here on the Mass Effect wiki where it says the extended cut features new cinematics and epilogue scenes that expand upon Mass Effect 3's original ending by providing more closure to Commander Shepard's story. The endings will vary depending on the choices made in the trilogy by the player. So apparently it's more.
Yeah, it just plays a different
cutscenes, but it's like the end is still the same. Sorry. Now
That's
please continue.
Yeah. So Andromeda, you bugger off. Things basically haven't gone well. They haven't finished building the station. They've lost the other arcs that everyone arrived on. Spoilers: your dad dies very early on.
Oh no!
Because you're the main character.
Is he the N7 guy?
He's the N7 guy. He's Papa Ryder. So like because Mass Effect was like, oh, you're Commander Shepard. Get it, Shepard, because you're shepherding all the people and humanity. Apparently now you're Ryder because you're gonna fuck everything in the galaxy. I don't know.
No, you're riding through the stars to the new.
Your dad's the Pathfinder, whose job it is basically to
find paths.
To find paths. The night was it the Nightwish song Pathfinder? Your dad dies heroically, saving the day to save you. You have a sibling, depending on which gender you pick.
Which apparently everybody, because they need to be progressive, needs this like FemShep. Everybody.
So here's the pro tip: you pick FemShep because FemShep has better voice acting.
Yeah, right. I'm saying you do that because you wanna look cool, and you need to, in your YouTube videos, you need to show the world that you're an ally. Right?
Nah. Just because I played ladies in basically all games now, so that's fine. So I have my rider. She's called Null because I wanted to see if that would break the game. It doesn't break the game, so I'm called Null.
little Bobby Tables. She has green hair, by the way.
She has green hair because I made her have green hair. She has a pretty fire like scarf.
Doesn't have your like like not companion, but somebody in the scenes very early on has like pink hair. One of the scientists or something.
I don't think so.
There was somebody with pink hair running around. That
I
wasn't
mean,
the
potentially.
player
They
character.
could have been in the background if I wasn't really like super attention to the characters in the background. Yes, you arrive, and then it's your job to sort of like help humanity find a home in Andromeda. Quickly, you encounter two things. One, there's one thing called the Scourge, which is like some weird dark energy bullshit. Weird science MacGuffin that is like fucking up space a bit. It sort of like gets in your way and ruins your sensors and makes you explode. And then there's the bad guys who are... You've not played 2, but they're equivalent of the bad guys in 2. In 2, they were called the Collectors. They were abducting people. Later turns out they're sort of like turning people into Reapers, which is weird. This is very similar. The bad guys are called the Ket, which is funny for 2 reasons, because Ket is an actual surname. There's a guy on Twitter I know, his surname is Ket. Also, Ket is short for ketamine, the horse tranquilizer, what people take for fun. So when people are talking about the Ket, I'm like, are you... what? Like, did you not grow up in like a shite place where people took ketamine? Apparently they didn't, because they called the bad guys the Ket.
Well, they're from Canada. They're you know, they're very
ridiculous.
they grew up very you know, protected from the world.
I can't take any scene seriously when they're talking about the Ket. I'm like, oh man, the Ket are real trouble. Would you believe it? Yes, taking horse tranquilizers is bad. Don't do that. Oh wait, they're talking about aliens. So yeah, there's that. And then so they abduct people, and there's plot that happens there. And then you meet the friendly alien race, who I've already forgotten the name of, but they look a bit like cats.
They look like they have ears tucked into their jumpers.
Yes, yeah, they do. They do. They're basically the cat people. They're the Khajiit of space. And yeah, it's very, very Mass Effect 2. Like, honestly, I mean, actually, it's not. It kind of is, because the kind of, you've got bad lads abducting people, and you have to save the day. You're working for a sort of non-governmental organization on your own. Yeah, quite similar. But there seems to be less focus. So in 2, most of the game is like you going around and acquiring your pals, being a shepherd, because like there were many side characters, like companions that you can take along. And I felt like, most of the game were the missions in which you go and recruit them, and then each of them had a loyalty mission that made them better friends with you. So it'd be like, go get, like, you start off with Jake and Miranda. You can do their loyalty missions to make them like happier. Jake's was to find his dad. There was like, go find the assassin, turned out to be Thane. Go find Archangel, who turns out to be Garrus. And that was most of the game. And then you went on the suicide mission. There are like a couple of plot beats along the way. You go on the suicide mission, you save the day.
So it's very streamlined.
Compared to Mass Effect 1, 2 is so much more streamlined.
It sounds like I'll hate it.
Yeah, but it's really good. Like, the combat gets better. Because
I don't give oh god, I've had this discussion with people at work, with people on Twitter. I don't play BioWare games for the combat. Who does that? Like, if you want combat, play Call of Duty.
In 2, it's quite fun, but it's a little bit clunky. 3, they kind of made it more shootery, but just general. 3, I felt, kind of did the Moffat Doctor Who thing of the stakes got raised so high I didn't give a fuck. Like, oh man, the Reapers are going to destroy the galaxy. Oh, who cares? I can't comprehend that being a thing, so like I can't get behind it.
It must be a millennial problem.
If the galaxy's fucked, then like everybody's fucked. It's going to be fine. We're all going to be equally fucked. It's fine.
No, it's not.
So like 2, then there's that. But then in Andromeda, it's kind of like you get all of, like, I know I have all because I got the achievement for collecting all of your space pals. One criticism.
That's weird. Like in Mass Effect 1, you know, I'm just like not in very, like, I haven't played very much, right? But I already have all the companions except one, and I have like the last one, and I have a pretty good idea who she is and where she is and what mission I have to do. So you get them really early on, as compared with Dragon Age, for example. I found.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, one was really kind of in my mind, because it's been quite a long time since I played it. But in my mind, it was like quite a slog, an enjoyable slog, like a big, nice space opera slog. 2 felt more like a kind of like action film, kind of like sci-fi action film romp, which was kind of cool. And then 3, yeah, less. I've got no real opinions about 3, to be honest. Like, it's not a game I tremendously enjoyed. So yeah, when I
except everybody keeps saying that like
3's the best. Yeah.
No. That Andromeda's most like 3. If you leave the story, if you disregard the story, because the story is apparently like 1 or something. But
yeah, the story is kind of
like the setup.
But yeah, like so I'll give you that. Like the sort of side questy stuff in Andromeda does remind me a lot of 3, and it kind of reminds me a lot of like the kind of open worldy. So have you had the Mako yet?
Yeah, well, I haven't used it yet, but it's like on the ship.
You know that there's like a land vehicle you can drive around.
It's on the ship.
Yeah, so it has the equivalent of that in Andromeda, and it is the best sort of implementation of kind of open worldy sections. Because it's not super open worldy because you've got planets, you've got floating screens and stuff. But in terms of like, you go to a planet and there's a big area where there's tons of quests in a kind of like Inquisition style thing where like, man, there's loads of things going wrong. You're the hero. Go rescue the things. Go collect the items. Go kill the bad guys. Like, that is really nice. The kind of handling of the vehicles are a lot nicer.
Except it gets stuck in like random rocks a lot
so
from the Let's Players I've seen.
I'm 20 hours in. I have tried to get this fucking thing stuck in things. It is implausibly good at being a 4x4. Like, it will basically climb vertical cliff faces. Like, I don't understand how people are getting it stuck in things, because I'm like, oh, there's no way I can just drive this up. Oh, wait, I'm already at the top. Grand. So, I don't know. I don't get that at all. Like, so I'm 20 hours in, and I accept that there are issues, but I think they're perfectly within the bounds of what is to be expected in a Mass Effect game. Because there's weird facial animations, I'll give you that, but I counter that with the weird 360-degree rotating heads in Mass Effect. And I played Mass Effect 2 multiple times with eyelids popping in and out.
Let's address this, right? I get your point. There's bugs in BioWare games, right? But my issue with the facial animations, which I haven't played the game, but I've seen a lot of footage of it, is not that they're buggy, but that they're just shit. Because like they're not actually that buggy. Like, they're just like, you know, as you said, like the rotating head or whatever, and the eyelids, and you have that in Dragon Age a lot. Like, people's hair is suddenly gone and shit like that. But that's bugs. But just the way, like, if I look at the presets in the character creator, they look like, people don't look like that. Like the ones in, like, Elite, you know, the character creator and the beta is a lot better. And that was, like, developed by a team of 5 people in a year in Cambridge. Whereas, like, BioWare had, like, $40 million in 5 years.
Yeah, there are, I think, 2 good-looking shepherds, and those are the default shepherds in Mass Effect games. Nothing I have ever made in a BioWare character creator looks what I wanted or intended, especially in Mass Effect games.
Well, that is true. I only played Mass Effect 1, but like you can't. It has 2 little settings. You can't really do what you want. Yeah. But I gotta say, the facial animations in that game are better than in Andromeda, and it's fucking 10 years old.
I'll give you they're ropey. They're like, oh man, this is a bit ropey, but it's distractingly so.
Well, what I don't understand is how Andromeda can look so shit. And like, we talked. I think on the show we talked a little bit about Inquisition, didn't we?
Yes.
Earlier on at some point, and I've played it a lot more since then, and there's stuff I definitely don't like about it. I don't like the way they built the open world. I didn't like the way the general story changed with that. I fucking hate all the fucking fetch quests. It's basically like WoW when WoW just came out. But there's two things I really, really enjoyed about Inquisition, which was the writing for the characters is top notch. Like Sarah is just an amazing character, for example. And they look fucking amazing. Like the facial animations in Inquisition are like amazing. They're the best I've seen in any game. Like, okay, since then a few games have been better, but they're like fucking great. And I can't understand how the same company with people in an office just over the fucking way can just do something as shit as Andromeda compared to that. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not great, but yeah, as I said, it's to be expected in a Mass Effect game.
No, because why?
Everyone's saying the facial animations are shit. That's like literally not the issue. The issues people should be talking about are like, I start talking to a person to initiate the conversation. They just walk off.
Yeah, that's just Bethesda.
It's just me, the menu with the choosing of the options. And then there's slow, because the characters you're talking to, like their volume is dependent on the distance they are away from you. So they walk away and you have no idea what they're saying.
That's like Fallout.
Yeah. So it's like, that is more of an issue. That is actually a pain in the dick, because I don't want to play with subtitles, because like I don't need to. But when they walk away, it is essentially game breaking, because I don't know what they're saying. I don't know how to respond. Then there are the issues of like people randomly teleporting. I've initiated conversations with people where I'm clearly standing in the spot they want to stand in, and they just walk around you. They still have the issue where like basically the pathfinding on your squad mates gives up if you run too fast or go up too steep a thing. It will just teleport next to you, like within the space that they're rendering. So it literally just teleports them into your view. You've got what other fucking weird shit is there? I'll give you the walking animations are weird. I'll give you that.
No, they're fucking atrocious.
But it passes the staircase test. You can run full pelt up a staircase and it not fuck up.
Yeah, but there are lots of people walking like physically, like anatomically impossible. Like, okay, the thing is, we are on two completely different levels of the conversation here. You're looking at it from the point of a player, point of view of a player, and because I'm not playing it, I'm looking at it from a more high level point of view. Like, I'm thinking, okay, this is BioWare. This is EA, right? This is a game that is really expensive, and you can't, like, this is not like Fallout New Vegas, where it's like Obsidian Entertainment, and apparently the whole company has no QA at all. This is EA, right? They leaked a fucking questionnaire with like focus group testing about the stories that was 5 years old, right? So EA has all these, you can say whatever you want about EA, but they have all these processes and due diligence and fucking shit. And I don't understand how anybody could have signed off on the facial animations or the walking animation. How does that happen? Like,
no, because they've been working on it for 5 years and like, just fucking ship it. Like,
well, but you're EA. The EA isn't
the thing that matters is that it's a fun game to play. It doesn't matter about the business bullshit attached to it, which is just like, oh man, they made a less good game than the other games they've made.
No,
what matters is that I'm playing a game that I really, really like.
See, that's the other level of the conversation again. This is what people don't get. Like I was discussing, I think we actually have a Facebook question later on from Ben. I don't know if I was discussing with Ben, somebody else. Or was it SJ Cambo? No, it wasn't him. But like he basically has the same question. He says, it seems like everybody on the internet wants me to hate it, like Andromeda, right?
Definitely. It is the internet's punching point.
No, what people don't understand is, like, if I say, how can this happen? I'm not trying to take away your enjoyment of the game. I'm completely happy with you buying this game and enjoying it. That's a complete different issue from me saying EA has a fucking quality control department that fucking works for FIFA, right? And the same people that sign off these animations, they don't work on the game. But they come in after like 3 years and they go to BioWare and they say, okay, show me your fucking animations, right? And then they show you the game. And how anybody saying can go, yeah, those are good animations, we can run with those. I don't understand. Like, especially if the same fucking company signed off on Inquisition and it looks good there.
You don't work in software. It's not like someone comes in and says this isn't good enough. It says someone comes in and says this needs to be out the door. I don't care. The quick QA people probably were like, yeah, this isn't great, but realistically, what are we going to get fixed before we get fired because we haven't shipped anything?
Well, but like
that's the kind of reality of it. In that, like, they like there's all this like random shit of people like leaking shit about the thing, but ultimately, video games is a little microcosm of software development in that they do hypercrunch of like, man, this needs to be out yesterday. Let's get it done. So things are going to get sacrificed. Like,
well, I understand. Yeah, software development is always like this, and if you don't have that, you're Chris Roberts, and your game will never get released. I get that, but on the other hand, this is also not like fucking, some agile Rails developer, right? These people, they have workflows and plans and fucking managers of managers of managers and meetings, and they sign off on every fucking thing, right? It's not like there's a group of like 20 people who does the facial animations who never talk to anybody else and they just ship something, right? I mean, this is EA. They probably have to sign every fucking thing they do. The shareholders have to like kind of look over. I don't get it.
Man, I don't even know how much of that is true. Like, how I don't because I'm not in there. Like, they're ultimately it's BioWare. Like, how much of the EA process that happens to FIFA happens to BioWare?
Okay,
because I know like internally things aren't the same in every department. And
we don't
have the same level of QA? Do they get the priority? Do we know that this was always going to be like the fucking like have as much like got like $40 million spent on it or whatever? But like you look at how much Chris Roberts has spent, that's fucking nothing. Like,
yeah, good point.
You say, how did they do this with $40 million? And then you compare it to Chris Roberts, like, oh my god, they did this with $40 million.
At least they shipped the game, right?
This is more than a JPEG.
It's also better No Man's Sky than No Man's Sky, apparently, from what I've seen of the
like,
planets.
Like, there's a game here. I can fly around, I can go to planets, I can mine things.
Okay, let me just do a final point. We don't know what's going on. I'm just saying, if you're BioWare, right, and you have managers, and you have two teams that kind of work parallel to each other, which they must have had for Andromeda and Inquisition, right? We know that they have different IPs, so they can release like a game every 2 years or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And they work in parallel. And you have two like organizations within your company. And one comes up with the facial animations of Inquisition, and the other one comes up with the facial animations and Andromeda. Then you have a fucking problem with the quality control in your company. Is all I'm saying. And you should fire the people that made Andromeda.
There was a guy on Twitter who supposedly worked for a bit on Mass Effect and on
the guy who went,
and basically he had a fairly plausible argument. I didn't bother verifying any of it, but they wanted to lip sync everything like by hand, basically, which I'm pretty sure is what
that's what Stas. No. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's Inquisition's. If they've got an algorithm that can lip sync that well in Inquisition, like that's really good. But they had his argument was that they recorded so much content, but there's a hell of a lot of content in Inquisition. It's not like if they lip synced all of that manually.
Yes, what I think the point is that they underestimated how much resource they'd need to do it. So they're like, fuck it, the algorithm will have to do. We'll have to get a working game. Like, it's fine. I mean,
I don't mind.
If we're comparing it to the basically announcement trailer for Mass Effect 1 that set the world aflame, of like, oh my god, it's going to be amazing. We're going to go to like this edgy bar and have a meaningful conversation. None of the games have captured that. Like, none of the games are at all what I was originally sold on, but I'm fine with that. And yeah, I would much rather like them to come back and like give it an Inquisition style treatment of like There's all the things, fix all the pathfinding issues, fix some weird menu stuff. Thing we've not talked about is the menus.
Yeah, just one point before we go there. Just one point I wanted to make. I think actually the biggest problem is actually not the animation issues, and that's all not that bad. Like my biggest problem with Andromeda really is that I think they have a conceptual problem with how the character creator looks. The people just don't look like people. They have just like puffy cheeks and whatever. And I think somebody at work today made the point that he thinks they were going for a younger audience and they were trying to make it look a bit cuter, which looks plausible to me. But whatever happened there,
plot-wise, I don't feel there's any difference in kind of tone.
Okay,
there's some dark shit happening.
I just think in like if there's dark shit happening, the characters don't look
So
right. Like there was something wrong in the conceptual stage there. They're not edgy enough.
I think that's like an issue with, in my mind, all of the characters I remember, apart from like all of the characters that are not your player character, or sorry, the good looking characters are the ones that are in my mind.
The companions, like you mean?
Yeah. So people like Miranda and Garrus and Thane, they all have had like a fuck ton of time spent on them.
Yeah, you're right. They look actually a lot better.
They look way better. Like Cora looks kind of pretty human. But anything that is either like a side character that is just like, so some of the people on your ship are kind of side characters. They look weirdly plastic. Like
what's the aliens with the blue flesh dreadlocks?
I'm gonna cry because I'm literally Liara is one of them. You've got one on your ship. That's the Asari. Yes,
right. There's an Asari in Andromeda which you can bang.
Yeah,
and she just like she looks weird. Like the face is just like derp. That's pure derp.
That I can live with because she's an alien. That's fine. I can live with that. But the point at which, you have a point that the character creators for your shepherds and your riders always make shit. Like,
well, the shepherd, like in Mass Effect 1, I'm really happy with my shepherd. I mean,
I've never been happy with.
It's got limitations. I can tell you, there's one big problem with it, but I think that's a limitation of the tech back then. 10 years ago, when Dave was like in preschool.
I was in secondary school. I'll have you know.
The problem is it has. Well, I was fucking young. Oh god, I don't want to talk about this. When I still had color in my hair, you can't have a beard. Like you can only have stubble because apparently you can't have beard. That's a big problem. That is a huge problem.
Actually, no, I take it all back. Literally, the biggest problem I have in Mass Effect is the hair and the hair physics. It's fucking awful.
Well, that's BioWare. Although it's quite good in Inquisition, actually.
Like
the beards.
It's not as bad as it used to be because I went through. I feel I made like maybe the most inhuman shepherd in 2.
You made the fucking inhuman rider. Tell you that. I'll put pictures in the show notes.
Her eyelids kept flipping like inside out, which was grand. And then she had like a ghost hair, so it would just fade in and out of. It would like no clip with everything. Like it was basically like you have your hair. It doesn't really move. It might a bit, but it is independent. Like,
it's actually an alien on Shepard's head.
I had Dragon Age Origins on PC. I had the Dragon Age Origins space armor, which looked fucking amazing, apart from if you had long hair. And then your hair just sort of like intersected with all the armor bits, and it looked fucking terrible. That doesn't happen as much now because I'm not wearing such beefy armor in Andromeda. But what you do have is the kind of weird transparency of the hair. So it looks like... I don't understand. So what it's probably not this because I don't understand like the game engine behind it. But it kind of feels like they've got a model of the hair and they've applied a texture to it, as is the way you make games. But like some bits of it, the texture is transparent.
But you can see them, right?
So like the texture transparent, so you can't see the model. But there's really weird artifacting.
You know what that is?
Edges of the hair.
You know what that is? I think.
What is that?
You're right. I think it's the texture, and it's when they do blur. Like, you know how when they do, like, this isn't, like, weirdly, this isn't a problem in Inquisition, but was a problem in every other Dragon Age game when you had long hair. It looks like it's a texture, and because the hair, ends at some point, but the texture doesn't. It goes transparent.
Yep.
And then when they apply a blur filter to the background, you know, like the out of focus kind of thing.
Ah, you're totally right.
You can see the transparent bits of the texture in front of that.
Yeah,
And-
it's exactly that.
And this was a problem with all the BioWare games, except once they switched to Frostbite in Inquisition, it was gone. And you're telling me it's back
They're
in
the
Andromeda?
They're in the Frostbite engine now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can see it. Like one of the screenshots what's that race with the
With the ears tucked
Garrus?
in.
Yeah, no, with the
Oh, what, the
bony-
Tyrians?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're looking at a Turian, and there's like light coming. I'll put a picture in the show notes. It's like in the screenshot you sent me. It's the second screenshot.
Yeah.
You can exactly see it where like your hair's supposed to be transparent, but it's
Yeah.
like because it has motion blur in the background, it's like fucking broken. God,
Yeah, So if you look at it, the kind of way I would describe that, the motion blur is applied to the pixels that aren't hair, but some pixels of hair are transparent. So there are some bits that don't have motion blur applied
right.
to them.
That's it.
Yeah, but then like you look at other bits and you like look at the fucking detail on the armor and
The aliens, like the eyes, are fucking amazing. Like the skin. That's that's Inquisition level.
yeah, there's amazing things, and then you like look at the fucking aesthetic of the whole thing.
Also,
which will
like
be in the trailer of your fucking cool spaceship, and then all the fucking things.
there's a picture of your character where you can see her the back of her head enlarge, and there's like this other I think it's one of your companions, the woman with the white hair,
Right.
and she looks really good, and like the back of your character's head, like the hair texture
Yeah,
looks
because we
fucking
weird,
atrocious.
So okay,
This looks
this
like
is the
PlayStation
this is
3 tech.
Yeah, this is the one. So it'll be in the show notes. You have Ryder with the green hair, and then in front of her you have Cora, who is the one of the first companions you have. And Cora is just on fire because she's had a designer and an animator animate her, and she has hair that has just been designed for her face and doesn't do derpy shit like my randomly selected one. I would probably be okay if they just said, "This is Ryder, fucking deal with it." I'm not one of those people that I have to customize my Shepherd or my Ryder to be me. I can never make me in games. That'd be fucking boring.
What was it? What if it had to be male? Would you rebel?
If it had to be male, that'd be fine.
Or if it'd be okay if the hair was amazing? It's all about the hair game, isn't it?
It is most man. If I could have my hair in the
your hair would be. I think is impossible to capture.
the chief engineer kind of has my hair, but it's kind of low polygon because he's one of the side characters who hasn't had as much time.
I think your hair is fucking even Chris Roberts couldn't do it. It's it's impossible to put in the video. My hair would be really easy. I have the straightest. I've got a lot of hair. Apparently, whenever I go to a hairdresser, it's wow, it's unbelievable how much hair you have. For a man, it's unbelievable. All the female hairdressers always go oh, I want your hair, and it's just straight. When I was growing it long, I looked like fucking Legolas, which I always thought it was annoying.
I
But
have the entire opposite. I go in and oh my god, you have so much hair.
What's the other?
It's got so much volume. I have to buy organic sea salt hairspray to get my hair this volume.
So you have the problem that
I wake up and I cry because my hair's exploded.
All women hate you. Must hate you because they always want everybody wants volume in their hair.
Will trade hair. I will trade my hair for nice.
What's her name again? The character with the white.
Cora.
I have her hair.
You do. Actually, you do have the fierce undercut, don't you?
It's also the same texture. It's getting the same color as well.
Whereas I kind of have if I let it grow out, I'll have my Ryder's hair.
You know what? You know what the problem is. This is I've analyzed this a long time ago. You always want other people's hair. You're never happy with your own hair. Other people kind of fucking adore your hair, and you're like, no, I would, if
No,
you
I
got
want the different hair.
if you got straight hair, you want curls. If you have curls, you're like doing like the ironing thing. I want fucking straight hair.
I find people do it with accents as well.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, "Oh man, I want a different accent," and I'm like, "Man, I wish I sounded like I was from a real place."
And I'm like, I just want to. I just
bland,
want to
boring
sound like the most boring British guy. That would be my dream.
I would swap that, but it would sound like I'm from somewhere.
I gotta say, the Krogan looks bloody amazing.
Yeah, see,
That's
again,
really good. Like the
aliens
eyes.
are really good.
The
Like
eyes.
his lip syncing's pretty alright. His eyes are fierce. Yeah, like
Well, but that's also the thing. If you do aliens, they always look alien, so it's kind of hard to, that always looks better when you do humans.
Mm-hmm.
You always know what's wrong. Like in your gut, you know that something's wrong.
there was another. I was nitpicking on fucking, but there's another issue. Like before I bumped up the kind of like stuff to max, the skin looked really weird under helmets. It kind of looked like water was falling on the surface of the helmet, but it wasn't falling on the helmet, it was falling on the person's face. It's a bit weird. Yeah, I bumped it up to ultra and that.
I gotta say the picture with the two aliens, like that alien race with the ears tucked into their things.
Yeah.
It looks like their heads are a bit too big. They've got like massive heads.
They do have big heads and kind of like tiny arms and really, really, really big shoulders. They're just a bit weird. They're kind of strange.
Anyway, before I completely derailed you again, you
Menus.
were going to talk about the menus. Yeah, I heard.
Man,
Man.
the menus are very much not designed for a PC. I kind of feel like if I was controlling it with like an Xbox controller or whatever, it would kind of be bearable because there's stuff that's like clearly like hover your cursor over this and then press a button, which on a console that's perfectly normal user interface interaction. Like I have this weird cursor and I press A on things and stuff will happen, but hovering over something and then pressing space to select thing,
God, sounds like fucking No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's really quite weird. The kind of buttons are just like a little bit weird. They've got the pressed, like the kind of things where it's like press and hold this button, and it'll be a little circle, and it'll do that. I quite like those.
Oh God.
It tells you what the button does, but it's like normally for the things that were like, this is going to cause a loading screen. Are you sure you want to do this without a pop-up, which I quite like. But the kind of navigation through menus is really. I feel there's more of a focus on crafting items, and it's just got a terrible inventory sort of system.
I also heard that like it marks stuff like with a tick, like if it says unread.
Yeah.
But like if you scroll to it, it marks it as read automatically. So if it's off screen and you scroll down, it marks it unread before it turns up on the screen.
Do you know what it doesn't do? So you go into a page where there's a list of things that you're going to mark. It opens the first thing, but doesn't mark that unread. So you scroll down, marks the next thing as unread, and then you have to scroll back up to the top thing to make the top thing unread.
Oh God!
And it's like, man,
like who signs off on this shit?
That is one of the that is a really tiny annoying thing.
What's going on with you?
There is a marker all as unread, but I obviously want to go read it manually and like read the law.
See, and my point, right? Because I know I whinge about this stuff, and even if I don't play the game, but my point is like, I really mean this. I don't want to take away your enjoyment of playing the game, and from my perspective, I can't, right?
Yeah,
because
I've already sunk 20 hours.
Because people fucking hate Dragon Age 2, and I think it's probably the best Dragon Age game. I really enjoy it, and I don't care.
The asset reuse. You just go to the same location every time.
I don't care if people like it's a valid argument. I don't care if people don't like it. It's out there. I can play it. But the thing I'm saying is just when they put out a game like this and they want $60 for it, right? Or whatever.
If only they wanted $60
£60 or whatever it is.
£50. It's like what?
And you're like, right? And you can still enjoy it, but I think people need, and I think it's good that they get shit for that on the internet, because they need to know that they can't get away with that the next time. They need to improve their fucking game. And in the end, it's good for all of us because, if they get shit, they sell enough, they're going to make a next one. They're going to make Andromeda 2. They already said it's going to be trilogy. They're going to make more. But, I hope they get enough shit that somebody thinks about what the hell they were doing and then does it better. I don't even want them to get fired. I don't, that's cruel. I don't, that's stupid. But, they need to improve their fucking game for the next one. Literally. Because it's just such a shame. I think. I mean, the other thing I've read about this, which I gotta say, John Walker wrote some really good reviews on Rock Paper Shotgun about this. Really, really scathing reviews, but astute and well written. And I think one of the points he makes, which I've seen made somewhere else as well, in other places, which I think is a really good point, is it's a bit of a shame that they went to a whole new galaxy, and they have the perfect tabula rasa setup, right? I mean, they nuked the other galaxy anyway, from what you say about the ending and whatever, and but they're really not using it to do something drastically different. I mean, this kind of sounds like it's same Dragon Age again, and you're why the hell are you going to a new galaxy then? The only difference is floating rocks and the planets are more pink.
Yeah, but I mean, I get that is a perfectly valid criticism, and if you wanted to have new and interesting sci-fi with genuinely interesting new characters, you're not going to new races and all that jazz. You're not going to get that here. But I don't think that's actually anything.
You don't think that's what people want? People just want to bang aliens.
People want to bang aliens. That's what people want to do. But I don't think Mass Effect ever really set out to do that. To be the kind of, oh my god, these are interesting. Because I kind of feel like fundamentally I feel it's going to be really difficult and probably impossible for a mass market entertainment thing to put genuinely alien experiences into a thing, because we're human and we like to latch on to things that are like us. I think Mass Effect's always aping this genre of science fiction, like Babylon 5, like Star Trek, in that basically there are aliens and they have weird foreheads.
I get that. I wouldn't have wanted something that radically different. Either, but a little bit more, a little bit more in that direction. The aliens in the original Mass Effect game, for example, are quite boring, except the Krogan. The Krogan are great.
And you like the Krogan?
Well, they're just different. And the whole backstory, with the xenophage or whatever, that's just interesting. But their character design is just it's markedly different from all the other aliens. There's the ones that are in the spacesuit, which is a science fiction trope, if you want to call it trope.
The little guys in the space.
There's basically the ones that are the Greys, with the big eyes.
There's the Hannah, who are the ones who are the big elephant lads who can't do emotion. So they're kind of
no. The Hannah are the floating ones. The Elcor are the elephant.
The Hannah are the big floating jellyfish ones, and then the other ones that don't. Yeah. So I give you that there are established kind of that they came up with a lot of cool kind of aliens for that. But then that's why I'm there for Mass Effect. If they came along and fundamentally redesigned the technology aesthetic of Mass Effect, I'd be really pissed off.
No, I completely understand you. I in this game, I've seen the alien races. I've seen.
Yeah,
play videos.
There are two new alien races. I think I would like more alien races. And I know there aren't any more. There's the cat and the cats.
And the Krogan one would have been as different as the Krogan are from the other ones in Mass Effect 1. Basically, Because fuck hell, this is they had played 3 games with the other aliens, and now they're shipping all the aliens to their. They could have come up with more than 2 different other races.
One thing that I think is interesting is that it's more overtly characters have sexualities. They have preferences.
Right.
So, it always kind of felt
like in Fallout a little bit.
All the other ones, it's oh man, I'm Shepard, I'm great, everyone's going to bang me. irrespective of what body parts they have. Like, man, I am so sexy. I'm Space Shepherd. I can turn anyone anyway. And then there are people. There are like multiple spoilers. I've just because I've pressed the chat up option basically at any point. I feel like it.
Like anybody would, yeah.
I've discovered that Cora likes blokes. I was very disappointed. And I was like, fine, I'm going to go chat up the chief engineer. And then he likes men. And I'm like, fuck.
Foiled. You and your progressive female lead.
Yeah.
Foiled.
Yeah, I know. But then I went and chatted up the co-pilot. And she was like, man, what if there's a god? And I'm like, we should go for drinks.
What if there's a god? I don't know. Another question. You want to bang?
Let's go get smashed. And then the
Turian
lady in the second screenshot, turns out she and I are well into each other.
Oh, that's a female Turian. How can you tell?
Like a human lady voice acting.
Okay.
And yeah, I was like, what happens if I say the chat up thing? It's like, oh man, you're like a really hardcore person. We should go basically get drunk again. I swear my rider's an alcoholic. Like,
that's good. I support
cool.
this.
Like,
he says drinking more red wine.
Yeah, it kind of feels like maybe these characters, like more so than any of the other ones, these characters have lives outside of me, which is nice.
That's good. One thing I wanted to say. We can compromise. Mass Effect doesn't need more weird alien races, whatever. It's okay, right? Yeah. One thing they need to put in for me. Right. I've seen some of the sex scenes in this.
Oh, dude. Yeah, they're bad.
And what I want is I want the thing where I don't know what you have to do. I have to put my ID card in or whatever. Like, I'm totally up for the surveillance state. If it allows me to unlock like the hardcore mode, where it's like actually graphical. I want to see the alien dongs. I want to
because it's gonna suffer exactly the same animation problems. You'll be like, man, that was just impossible. Like, people's legs don't bend that way.
That would be hilarious, though. And if people tell me this can't be done, you are fucking wrong, because there's really good stuff on Pornhub. Considering Overwatch and other games, and if people can do this with third-party character models, come on.
Saying if it's going to be a massive
hand
problem,
it's
not going to be well.
It's like the dongs clipping everywhere.
Yeah, man, the dong suddenly just gets like bumped and then just flies up into space.
Flies off. Dong flies off.
Or it's just constantly rotating around one axis. Or it's just like a drill. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening.
Hey, that could be a feature,
It's just a Frostbite engine. It's perfectly normal.
Randomly goes flaccid. I like that. That's a good idea. No, and if they can't do it, just outsource it. There's a whole like poser porn community I've learned recently. They do nothing else. I mean, they can get it done. I would like that. I want that.
I'm sure there's a relevant subreddit for you, Fab.
Well, if I look at the I gotta say, if you look at these your screenshot with the two aliens where you see like their bodies, like is one of them male? Is the left one male?
Yes.
There's definitely not much space in that suit where you can hide a dong.
Very figure hugging, yeah.
like that he's gotta have weird anatomical like a retractable dong, yeah.
They could have a separate appendage they keep in the drawer and they attach it.
Oh, actually, that's what like the ears are. That's why they tuck them in the spacesuit.
Oh, because the end of it's dongs.
That's it. That's good. Where did we go?
Were we gonna say more things about Mass Effect? 'Cause I think
yeah. One thing I want to know is like we're like the Australians. Apparently,
who are the Australians?
People like with Australian accents or something.
What do they look like?
I don't know. I just heard that there's like people with Australian accents or weird accents.
Oh yeah, no. So that's the weird cat people. They have
Okay, they're Australians.
They have like every accent under the sun, but there's some very distinctive Australian people. I'm like,
do they say mate?
Yes. Yeah,
what?
Like, it's weird.
What?
It's just I don't think they do say mates. They just sound really Australian.
G'day, cobber. We're the space cat fish people, mate.
So in the kind of in the fluff fab, in the
Truth.
deep lore, in the deep lore, I'm pretty
I am
sure
all for the lore. That's why I play these games.
in the lore, I'm pretty sure they're not actually speaking in the same language. So like the aliens are speaking in their language,
Right.
and we speak in space English.
Universal.
And you have
Universal
translators that translate it.
Who
so
programmed the universal translator though? Like if you go to a
some Australian guy.
No,
He was like,
it's like-
full name in the scene, with a random accent.
yeah, it's like random accent. Like you go, like imagine it's First Contact, right? You go to a
Yeah.
planet, you talk to like the aliens, and they all have Australian accents, and you just keep laughing your ass off, and they just declare war because you can't take them seriously because they have Australian. It's truth.
What's kind of weirder though is that like, if you think about it, like if there is a universal translator, like yeah, every character has a consistent accent. No character's like Australian now but German tomorrow. So somehow
even
the
better.
algorithm's so good at working
Yeah.
out like what their accent should be. Or more weirdly is that there's like a universal like protocol for like describing what you want your accent to be.
Yeah,
displayed as.
yeah.
Like, I want the Australian accent, please.
It's like Jason API.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, just read up the Jason MPI.
I just think all Krogan should be German. I think that like I saw the first Krogan. I think they should have German accents. Be like
oh man,
they made us all sterile, the fuckers. I'm fucking pissed off. I'm
I
just
find it
going
fucking
attacking
one-
everyone.
one crazy thing.
And they're called Krogan. They could, the Krogan. It's perfect.
One weird thing is we go to another galaxy, and
Right.
we can somehow like arbitrarily share data with people. Like you're having a chat with the alien people. It's like, oh man, here's the nav point to the thing I'm talking about. And I'm like, man, that's like a 3D coordinate in space. We can't agree on that in the same company, let alone in a different fucking galaxy.
Speaking of experience, they
It's just like, how have we done this? What amazing technology!
pulsars.
Like, we can travel faster than light. It's like, no, man, we've agreed on the standard for describing a point.
Yeah, isn't it like pulsars? This is like the old. That's like
but
how
like,
they do it in
just-
Star Trek.
Just even like, oh man, like here's of a point looks like, and oh man, sometimes it has bonus properties. Like what? It's ridiculous, but it's cool. I like it. It's good. It's a fun pulp. It kind of feels like. Have you ever seen the kind of like they're not magazines, but they're kind of monthly collections of short sci-fi things that like you'd subscribe to in like the 60s.
Yeah, sure.
Those things. It's that sci-fi, but now.
Bit like No Man's Sky, isn't it?
There's nothing like No Man's Sky.
No, but
It's fun.
that's what like the experience, like that's what the inspiration was, like the look.
Yeah, okay, maybe, but this is like it's more plot driven. There's more like cool lore happening. There's like funny quips. There's like fun characters. There's sex scenes. It's just good. It's really quite an enjoyable experience. And I'm 20 hours in, and I can feel myself being like, yes, I'll spend hundreds of hours more.
I'll take away from this. Create a character without hair, like bold,
Pro tip, be bold, yep.
bold people. Bold, like Alien, Sigourney Weaver. That's always good. I want the hardcore version. That should be DLC.
What, Mass Effect After Dark?
Yeah.
More mass, more effect.
Awesome. Downloadable content. I like that.
Perfect.
That's good. More mass, more effect. Really good. Yeah.
I'm done with Mass Effect now. I don't think I've got anything to add.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say. Like
I hope you continue playing Mass Effect 1 because it
I
genuinely
will.
is really good.
I'm pulled into the lore. Like the lore is really cool.
Also, I think in the second one there's a character called the Elusive Man, and you're
Sorry, you cut out. You what?
Oh, in Mass Effect 2 there's a character called the Elusive Man.
Yeah.
And he is your aesthetic. He drinks whiskey and smokes and looks
right.
edgy. Like is like, man, if Fab was in a game, he'd be this.
Sounds great. I'm googling him. Sounds like kind of the smoker in the X-Files.
Yeah. And he just like sits in this gigantic room orbiting like some weird star. It's like, oh man.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at images now. Yeah.
He's good. He's cool.
Yeah, he looks like my kind. He's got like this evil thing going on. So it looks a bit like the guy from Babylon 5. You know the guy that gets decapitated at the end. Like the shadow agent. I can't remember what his.
Yeah, he does a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like he's down my alley.
I mean, he's played by Martin Sheen, so
is he?
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. No. Yeah. Well, if I look at his face, it makes sense.
Yeah, he's kind of got like a young Martin Sheen face.
Yeah, he does. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I will continue playing it. I just never. I knew it was good. Like I've just keeping it. Like, and it's actually not that bad. Like I played Inquisition like over a year after it came out, which was great because I bought it a lot cheaper.
Yes,
and I think I'll buy it. Like by the time I come around to Andromeda, it'll be a lot cheaper, and it'll be as much money as I'm willing to spend for those derpy facial animations.
With Origin though, because
I play FIFA.
Here's a thing.
You're whinging about it today. Yeah.
Fucking screenshots, man. It's such a pain in the ass. So like, I hate Steam as an application. Like as a service, it's great. I like the idea that it's good. I can download the games. Sales, fantastic. I just think the actual application you install is dog shit. Like every page feels like I'm in like 1998 and I'm like pressing a button and then waiting for it to load, and then the videos sometimes start playing and sometimes they don't. It's just a big fucking pain in the ass. It's an ordeal. So like, I am on record saying I think Origin, the kind of application, is far more bearable. I press buttons and things happen. Admittedly, they're only EA things, so like I can't actually do a lot with that. But it means that I can like press the store button and it kind of feels snappy and responsive. But today I'm going to moan about taking screenshots in Mass Effect.
Okay, before you do that, I just put a picture in the show notes. I think this is.
Oh Christ! This is a DeviantArt page. I'm scared. That's cool.
It's the elusive man. That's beautiful, isn't it?
That's fucking.
I'll put that in the show notes.
I'll have a print of that, please. So Fab was like, take some photos so we can have some nice images to put in the show notes. Like,
did I know.
This will be easy. No, turns out it's not. Origin has no button to take screenshots, whereas Steam has a button to take screenshots, and then it will automatically upload it to Steam, which is great. As far as I can tell, Mass Effect doesn't have any button to take screenshots. It's like, fuck, this is a big pain in the ass. Then I discovered I can't actually just press the print screen button and paste it, because that just gets you a big black box. It's one of those applications which just for some reason you cannot print screen. I use a third-party screenshot utility because it does nice cropping, and I can select which windows I want to do and all that jazz. Same thing in that, just like I press print screen, click, and then he goes, okay, you've taken a JPEG of a black screen, and now Mass Effect's crashed. Fucking great.
The facial animations are so high quality, we can't allow you to pirate them.
Okay, this is clearly too hard a problem for me to solve. I'll Google it. How are other people taking screenshots? And then people were like, you either use Fraps, and I'm like, I am not installing Fraps. Fuck that noise. Or you use NVIDIA's GeForce thingy, which I already have installed. So I was like, fine, okay, we'll use this. So after wrangling that to work, because I've never bothered setting it up, and I was like, it's not working. Turns out you can't enable it while the game's running and then use it. You have to enable the feature and then turn the game on for it to work. Fucking pain in the ass. And then what I did is I pressed the screenshot button, which I've shown to Alt S for screenshot. I pressed that during one of the loading screens and crashed the game. And I think during the loading screens, it downscales your resolution. Because when I started it back up, it was in less than 1080p. And it turns out there are two separate settings for resolution. One's resolution scale, which apparently does nothing. and one's actual resolution, but that's not in the actual resolution setting, isn't in the graphics page. So I was there like taking screenshots, being like, man, this looks like dirt. What the fuck? Maybe I was drunk when I was playing this. I was like, wait, no, hang on. Go into system settings. Like, it's changed the resolution of my actual monitor, because when I did the fucking screenshot to screenshot the thing on the loading screen and it crashed, actual Windows had changed resolution. Like, Chrome suddenly was looking weird because, like, man, pixels tall. What the fuck's happening? And I had to like go in and change my screen resolution. Like, why have you made this so hard to take screenshots, you fucks? Like, do you not want me to take screenshots of your beautiful environment?
No, they know the facial animations are shit.
No, because they're screenshots. They're not like driving me crazy. It took me about an hour to take those screenshots, like to get that set up. The fucking made me angry, fam.
Let me ruin the elusive man for you.
Okay.
Okay. Picture him.
Mm-hmm.
Mitt Romney.
Oh.
I've just seen a Photoshop of Mitt Romney as the elusive man.
No.
And it's pretty close.
You ruined the game for me.
Yeah, it's well, you can't have it all.
No.
Actually, I gotta say, I really like Steam, but like their default screenshot quality is atrocious.
Yeah, because it's like a 1080p image, and it like
compresses the fuck out of it because it's JPEG. So what I do is like you can set it to spit out the original like PNG and the original resolution in another folder. You can set that in the settings, and I do that, and that's why my Steam screenshots look so good.
Yeah, the ones with NVIDIA spit out like 3 to 4 megabyte.
Well, this is like it does that. It's just like uncompressed. It's just the video. It's like the actual frame as a PNG. So it's like it's exactly the same quality.
Which is cool because like in some of the kind of running things, you kind of get the motion blur in the screenshot, which I think is quite effective. One of the penultimate one I sent you has like bits that you're running.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
it's like I'm in focus because I'm like centered around the camera, but then like,
I can already tell you by the way, Alexa.
Yeah,
this is not how you run. This anatomically, this doesn't work. I
have no idea how to run.
I went running yesterday. This is not how it works.
In space, that's how it works, man.
I will send you another screenshot, which I will put in the show notes. So click on that.
No, stop wearing the elusive man.
It is Mitt Romney.
Totally is.
Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about Mass Effect 1, but I don't know.
Play more.
I will play more.
I will re-familiarize myself with what the fuck happened in Mass Effect 1. We can have a chat.
Yeah. Better facial animations. This is all I'm going to say. And I think that concludes the Mass Effect talk.
Yeah.
There's another note in here.
Yeah, there's just
a Kickstarter. That's the game Char was.
Yeah, so continuing the kind of like saga, kickstarting things live on air. There's a cool board game.
Oh, by the way, while we're at that, I kickstarted Bellingcat.
What?
Bellingcat, which is a journalism thing from the UK.
What?
We talked about them when we talked about the Turkey coup, and like when they're like kind of investigative online journalists, and they reconstructed like the coup from the WhatsApp.
Yes,
things.
Yes.
That was Bellingcat. They also they found the when that plane was shot down over Ukraine.
Yeah,
they kind of traced like the bug, and they've been tracing like Russian soldiers. Like basically what they do is like they do open source journalism. So they go like they trace like when the Russians said, well, we're not in Ukraine, they're not Russian soldiers, and they basically traced Russian soldiers like only by their Facebook posts and shit like that. Like by the background, they're like tracing like fighting vehicles from photos and shit. So cool. Bellingcat, they're really cool. Anyway, sorry.
I kickstarted a board game called Rampunctions, the terrible game of terrible puns. It's not a terrible game. It looks like a great fun game. It is made by Jen Carey, who is, I believe, a friend of Sharon Owens.
Disclosure.
Corruption. Basically, I want everyone to kickstart this game because it is currently at 8,563 euros of its 10,000 euro goal. It's got 16 days to go.
It's gonna do it. Yeah.
I really want to play this, so people should go and fund it. The sort of premise is,
And it's in euros. Yay!
it's in euros, so I'm gonna get fucked.
It's the future.
In 2 days' time, we trigger Article 50. It's gonna be great, Fab. We're gonna be free.
That sounds like a plot from Mass Effect. It's like 3 colored buttons. It's Article 50.
Yeah.
The question is going to be the blue, the green, or the red explosion?
Oh no. No, it's gonna be the red, white, and blue one, Fab. It's gonna be great.
What, the American explosion?
Yes, it's kind of to.
It looks a bit like Cards Against Humanity, just from
in a kind of like a funnier way. So the premise of it is that puns are the best things, and people should tell more puns. So it kind of, you pick up a card. There's 2 kinds of cards. There's a topic on which you're going to have to talk about, and then there's also a theme on which you will pun. So the topic could be teaching dolphins to swim, but you have to make puns about politicians while doing it.
No more tears shampoo. When will the lies end?
Yeah, exactly. So there's like that kind of thing, and it's sort of just going to be a good pub game to like facilitate.
I think I can't do that. I don't think my English is good enough.
So yeah, that's like maybe an issue, but people should just give them about 1,500 euros.
All the Kickstarter pledge levels are puns on the word pun.
Yep. So the €1 one is
Fundamental.
Punder it, Fundamental, Punter, Distribute Pun, Punishing. Oh, it's so good. So yeah, I went for the one that should like have a game. So I will have the game, hopefully, if it's funded. The video's great. Peeps making it seem great. The art style's really nice. It looks like a nice little game as well. Kind of like the box it's in is one of the ones that appreciates that not everyone has fucking bucket loads of space to store board games. Yeah, it's good. People should do this. Please.
I'm looking at the video. She's got blue hair. She's on
Next step, green hair.
She's on the Char brand. Gotta say, her hair textures are a lot better, and her face is a lot better animated than anything in Andromeda.
I mean, you could say that about a person who's real. Yeah.
I like the color of the game.
Yeah,
like
no,
it's pastels.
It's really pretty.
Nice.
Just nice. It's going to be a nice thing to own and a nice thing to think around. And
except my English is not good enough for the puns. What will I do?
This is how you get better at puns, Fab. Practice.
So we totally didn't just have a break. And
Not at all.
Dave is totally not just closing the whiskey bottle, which he
No.
got in
No.
the break.
That would never
And
happen.
I didn't just create the GNR Book of Grudges, which is the old Linux Outlaws rap book. It's now the GNR Book of Grudges, and I will put in the first grudge is Mass Effect Andromeda : fucking facial animations. And then in brackets also walking. That's the first grudge.
Good. Approved.
Okay, let's go on to the feedback then.
Yeah, we have people are learning, man. That Twitter is the place to be. We've got a little bit of feedback from Facebook and a shit tons from Twitter.
There's a lot of tweets, yeah.
There are a lot of tweets.
They're taking the Char brand on board.
Yeah, the first is from SJ Gumbo, which was the question mentioned earlier. Do you think Mass Effect Andromeda has too much negative hype? Seems everyone in Intel wants me to hate it. My answer is yes. It's not in a malicious let's pick on it. It's just like it is the way of games chat on the internet that like this month we're picking on Andromeda, next month we'll pick on something else.
My answer is no. They're shifting a shitload of product. It's best-selling game. They're making a shitload of money, but they need to up their fucking game. To quote Sir Stuart Strange, you need to improve your fucking game. To which
Ben
Dave
Cotton
says,
Ben Cotton has 2 questions. First of which of you is the most Tory?
that would be me, wouldn't it?
Would definitely be Fabian.
I think I'm a bit more. I wouldn't say like. Well, if you say right wing, it already sounds bad. But I'm not as socialist as Dave. Let's put it that way.
You're not posting aesthetic socialist memes.
No, because
Man,
if the Soviet Union taught us anything, it's that socialism isn't fucking aesthetic. Anything but.
Oh man, at lunch we were talking about late capitalism and how bad it is. It's
Why is it bad?
Because it's just shit, man.
You give people money and they create Mass Effect for you. What is not to like?
Ethical consumption in late capitalism, Fab.
I don't give a fuck about ethics. I just want my Mass Effect.
Man,
I am toiling in the fucking wheels of the fucking journalism hell every day so I can come home and give people money so they give me the Mass Effect. Which is still better than fucking socialism. Because that leads to like grey countries and grey people and nobody having any Mass Effect.
We all just have the tiniest of fractions of Mass.
Well, yes.
The dream of Mass Effect.
As somebody who lives in a country which had a lot of 40 years experience with actual fucking socialism, mate, I wasn't over there, but it wasn't the best of time. I can tell
It's
you that.
branding, man. The Lib Dems aren't tremendously liberal Democrats.
I can tell you something. You're fucking progressive. I'm just going to be a vegetarian. It's not going to fucking work in socialism. Because if the state says eat pig, you better fucking eat pig or you'll die. Okay. Was that Tory enough?
That was very Tory.
Shall I get my top hat?
Definitively.
I have a top hat. Dave doesn't have a top hat. I'm immediately more Tory.
I am such a povo. I am just ridiculously. Yeah.
And then I have Egg on Twitter pointing out that it's not top enough for him.
Oh man, that hat chat was the best thread.
That dude.
He was
It's judging me on my fucking.
Why are you taking advice from a man wearing a fucking orange?
Yeah, it's a ginger wearing an orange suit. I mean, come on. What are we doing?
You cannot impinge on my right to wear flat caps.
And he cannot impinge on my right to fucking wear brown fedoras. Because if there's anything I've achieved in my life, it's that I don't give a fuck if you judge me on what hat I wear. I walk down the fucking street in Hanover wearing a top hat. Do you think people like that? There were fucking little fucking millennial girls laughing in the tram. Do I give a fuck? No. Do not give a fuck. I fucking like top hats. Screw you.
Oh man, gotta see you on the tram with a top hat.
It's a sight to behold.
A follow-up question.
I got a use for you.
Oh God. Is if you could appear in any non-fiction TV show, which would it be?
Grand Tour.
But that's fiction, fan.
I think you will find it. It's high-class journalism. It is investigative journalism.
They're investigating how far.
Yes, they're investigating how fast you can go. and how ridiculous you can be. These are the most important questions in life. I'll have you know. You'd be the fucking Bake Off, wouldn't it?
See, I'm so torn, right? Because right now, Robot Wars is back on TV. And what I really, really want to do is be on Robot Wars with like a DARPA-funded robot.
One of Boston Mechanics.
Yeah, I basically want to go to Boston Dynamics and say,
Dynamics. Yeah.
I want to make children cry.
Or the Samsung one, you know, the actual, like, with
the
guns.
actual military ones, yeah, the ones that are on the DNZ. Yeah, something like that, and just go, right, there's this show on the BBC where there are some, like, man babies who take this far too seriously and then cry when a child beats them. And then there are some nice loving family teams, and they're all wholesome and great. And then there's some teams from schools, and they build their robots out of plastic. And then there's some idiots who build their robots out of wood. I would like to build a death robot that just wrecks them all and makes them cry.
It's like an actual Gatling gun on there.
Yeah.
So, fuck you, a wood robot.
Robot Wars makes me so angry because it is one of my favourite shows because it's great. But also, I don't so it turns out there's
Shall I put it in the Book of Grudges?
No, because it's good. I really enjoy it. It's just really weird because there's
by the way, actual physical book. Take that, Drayton Crowbar.
Oh my God. There's an actual underground scene of people who build robots and fight them. And in the 10 years Robot Wars was off TV, they continued the legacy of Robot Wars.
Oh God, you're one of the back to the roots.
And on TV, they've got like really good robots. And then they have terrible robots that are made by like two people who legitimately said, "Oh, we're not engineers, and we feel that's going to bring a new edge to our robot. We're going to think of things engineers haven't thought of, and that is our advantage." And they come out with this fucking giant G-clamp made out of fucking perspex and go, "It's great, it's a pusher. It's just going to clamp on and push him in the pit." It's like, no, there's like a 10-kilo spinning bar of metal that when it spins up sounds like the death hail of a terror squid. Like, that's going to fuck you up, okay? Stop letting these dumb people come on the show and just go like, "Oh, we've made a floppy robot thing." It's like,
Dave,
no, burn it, kill it, destroy.
Dave, they're not dumb because they're not engineers. I'm not an engineer. You don't have to be a fucking engineer to win wars. It's called Robot Wars, right? If they ask me, what kind of robot do you want to build to win the Robot Wars? No, I'm just going to go napalm. Napalm or C4. Buckshot.
That I feel is somewhat cheating.
What do you mean? It's called Robot Wars. There's no cheating in wars, I have you know. You know, you're a proponent of the British Empire, aren't you?
No,
like
I am no, very much not.
Oh no, that was me. I'm the Tory. I'm sorry.
Yes, I am very much ashamed of that. Or the Great Pottery Throwdown. Because you are familiar with the concept of the Bake-Off, where lots of middle-class people go on TV and they bake bread.
I wouldn't say I'm familiar.
And sometimes Paul Hollywood will be like, "That bread is so good, I'm going to shake your hand." The Pottery Throwdown is like, what if it was more ridiculous? What if our hobby required more things than baking? And actually it's like making pots out of clay is our hobby, and we're going to go on TV and we're going to make pots, but we're not going to get a handshake. No, the seal of approval is from the kind of terrifying man who will sometimes cry about pots. He will be like, "This pot is so amazing, I'm going to cry." It's imbued with such feeling and emotion that a grown man cries about pots. I want to be on that show. I want to make him cry. I want to win Pot of the Week. I'm going to put my pot in an art gallery.
It sounds like something from fucking Terry Pratchett.
I want to be. Yeah, that's it. I want to be on the Great Pottery Throwdown.
It's like pins. The Pin magazine. You're a pinhead.
I want to make a toilet. I want to make a U-bend. It's good. I want to make things out of porcelain.
You know what? It's just a matter of time until there's actual like Warhammer on like fucking painting Warhammer Bob Ross,
Warhammer Bob Ross.
Duncan in a wig
Duncan becomes Bob Ross.
on
Slowly
Dave.
His hair just gets curlier and bigger.
on Dave. There you go. Games Workshop.
Remember,
Bills in
always
the
thin your
post.
paints. Two thin coats.
Bills in the post. You know what? While we're at that topic, in Bonn, I like to cook. I wouldn't say I'm a great cook. My father is really good. It's just his hobby, right? So he just cooks for pleasure. He, when I was a kid, he only cooked on the weekend. I had to work in the week, but he would and he still does, cook with a lot of love and he's got a hand for cooking, and he's imparted a little bit of that to me. Just I picked up a little bit. So I was Katie and me were living in Bonn, our first flat. This must have been at the time about 2006, 2007. So about the time I started Linux Outlaws. We were living in a tiny flat, our first flat together, in the crooked, one of those attic kind of where they build out the attic to be actual flats. It was really crooked, really cute, but really small. And the floor was the kitchen was such that the floor was so crooked that they already had propped up the oven thing, to be kind of straight. You know how you have these adjustable feet, on kitchens.
Yes.
So they already maxed that out, but it was still so that if you put a pan on the oven thing, on the cooking whatever stove. Hob, and you put an egg in, everything would migrate to one corner of the pan, because it wasn't completely straight. So I was living there. So I was sorry, mic boom again. I'm getting excited. So I was I don't know. I think it was in the week, but I was gonna cook, and I picked up some good stuff. And there was this supermarket in the center of Bonn where you go downstairs and they have a food court and they have really good ingredients, kind of like the Waitrose, where it's not yeah. And I love Waitrose when I lived in Wimbledon. It was great. When you have not the cheapest ingredients, but they have the really good stuff, and I was I had my dreadlocks, right? So I'm walking around in the store. Oh, that must have been later because I had... Anyway, I think I had that dreadlocks, but I was walking around in the store, really stereotypical guy with dreadlocks, just picking all the ingredients, and I was a student, I had a lot of time. So I was just really taking my time, picking picking the awesome ingredients, and we was cooking some Italian stuff, so it was not your random ingredients, right? They're kind of expensive, especially for a student, I guess. And so this woman steps up to me and says that there was a German, or there still is, I think, a German cooking show called Das Perfekte Dinner, The Perfect Dinner, where you have
probably work that out from the title.
Yeah, I don't know, they must have something different or something similar in the UK. It's Endemol, so it's probably in every country, but it's basically it's I don't know, it's 5 people in one show, and you have to invite everybody to your place and cook for them.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
And you cook for everybody, everybody cooks for everybody, and then everybody votes.
Yes,
and then there's a winner.
And then everyone gets really bitchy. It's in the German version, do they go rooting?
Sorry, will they go what? You cut out.
Rooting around in people's bedrooms, finding shit.
Yeah, they weren't doing that at the beginning. At that time, now they're doing that. I think the show had to get more edgy.
We are talking about exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I think the show had to get more edgy, but back then it wasn't that bad. Yeah. And also I wouldn't mind if they
get more edgy, so they got Richard Dawkins on it.
Well, if they go rooting around in my drawers and they find a huge dildo, it's fucking their fault, What do they go rooting around in my drawers for? It's just gonna impinge on their mental sanity, right? Not on mine. So I wouldn't care. But she was basically asking me. She's like, "Oh, would you like to be on that show?" And I was actually considering. I told Katie later, and she was like, "Oh, that would be great." But I basically had to decline on the grounds that our flat was tiny.
You
I'm
couldn't
like,
fit
I'm
that
a
many people
student.
in, including the team.
No, you couldn't fit. Like I know, like I had been on. Like I don't think I had been on TV, but I kind of like I know how like TV shows are filmed, and I know what size cameras are, and especially lighting rigs. And I'm like, there's no way you can put lighting and a cameraman in my kitchen, and I'll still be able to cook, because basically I can be in there, and that's it. But she really, really wanted me on the show, because I think she was just looking for people. She could
look interesting.
Yeah, well, I looked interesting with the dress. Like I wasn't looking normal, and she could probably tell by the ingredients that I wasn't like kind of cooking omelette or something like that. But yeah, that was the story how I would have nearly turned up on. I would have done it as well. Like if like in the flat we lived after that. If I'd lived there, I would have said, yeah, sure, I gotta ask my girlfriend. But if she says, yeah, I'm like I like being on TV. I'm like an egomaniac. So anyway, back to the feedback.
Worcestershire sauce has fish in it. It's like fermented fish sauce.
What sauce?
Worcestershire sauce. It's basically fish sauce.
Is it?
Like, yeah, apparently loads of like.
Where does that come
sauces
from
have,
now?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's just a thing I saw today. It was like, if you're allergic to fish, like loads of people can't eat.
You know that
Worcestershire sauce.
you know that Germans, because Worcester is like, it's like the way you pronounce that word has nothing to do with the way you spell it.
Yeah, correct.
So German, it's like a typical German thing. German will think it's called Worcestershire sauce.
That's the best. Worcestershire.
Well, that's how you would pronounce it if you learned like English.
That's perfect.
Worcestershire sauce. Like I can actually remember. I've me being in Australia, and like I've loved the English language, and I've been into it and learning stuff that other people wouldn't. I can remember very distinctly. I don't know who I had that argument with, but I can remember having a distinct argument with somebody over like dinner somewhere that they didn't believe it was called Worcester sauce. I was like, it's called Worcester sauce. And they're like, no, that's completely no, there can't be that's no way. That's like they were like, no, that's and then other people were like, no, that's so far fetched. No, you're wrong. Somebody
wrong,
like
sad, wrong.
Yeah, wrong, sad. Some English people that like they made fun of you, and yeah. Ugh, yeah.
We get onto the mass of Twitter.
Let's do that.
It's pretty big.
It's having an effect on us.
So.
Oh God, one's from Joe. Oh God, Joe Racing. Okay.
Top the show is Junk God's Sam, friend of the show. Fab, I've had whiskey, I'm feeling fine. He says Geek News Radio 27 charging into a battle with a piece of fruit and incense mounted on a spiked pith helmet.
Yep.
Yes, that's good.
Okay, that's getting retweeted from me right now.
I will attach half a grapefruit to the top of my pith helmet.
Oh, it's gonna smell so good as well.
Yeah, it's gonna
My God.
Good. What incense are we gonna have? Kind of like you have like frankincense, maybe, or maybe like the little sticks. We can have like aloe vera kind of incense sticks or something like that. That's pretty cool.
I don't know. Maybe just go for marijuana while you edit. Just go the whole cold hog.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's go all out. Let's spend all of our money on and pith helmets.
I already bought a top hat. My relationship has suffered with the top hat. I need to lay low on the hat front for a while. But when I'm in Dublin, I will wear it.
Yes.
And I will greet Shah with a hearty I gotta sneeze. Sorry. A hearty sneeze. I'm sorry. Okay. Need more wine.
St. Michael Soul, friend of the show, man I have had beers with and flown spaceships with, said, just listen to my first 2 Geek News Radio episodes. Great stuff. So, for some reason, I decided to work backwards through them, though. That's a bold decision, to which I retweeted, the takes will get slowly less topical, but will always be fire. Which leads us to our next bit of feedback, which is from Joe Ressington, which is, you're such a fucking millennial, Dave.
He is. He's right on that one. I'm just
I wasn't sure if I was going to include that, but I just
You wanted, sorry, you cut out again.
I just wanted you to agree with Joe for some reason.
He is right. I'm just retweeting St. Michael, so I'm just saying, oh God, God save your, and then in parentheses, Michael's soul. I'm a bit drunk. So where's that? Okay, I think I need to favorite and retweet Joe Ressington.
Oh my God. Shit, Fab. This is new.
I'm retweeting it with I agree. This is gonna have an impact on the space-time continuum, I think. You are, Dave. Sometimes you just are.
I'm pretty millennial. It's pretty good.
I technically I'm too, but I just that can't be like we can't be. Actually, the thing is, I think I told you that before, but I always thought you'd actually not millennial at all. Like, I don't know. I think we did. Did we first meet on the net, like just in writing?
Yes.
Because I have a distinct impression of thinking you were as old as me.
I do this. I make friends with people who are older than me.
I think it's the age of your soul.
It's because I'm secretly a really old man.
And since my soul is like 65.
Yeah, and I'm timeless and just drunk.
You're an immortal.
Yeah, no, I remember going to the first old camp and people like, I've not gone to university yet. I'm a child. Keep buying me beer. Yeah, no, I do that. I make friends with all manner of humans. Speaking of humans, Mike is a human and a co-host. And he sent us a little thing about PSG.
Oh yeah, this was the BBC article, right? On esports.
Yeah, but they want to get in on the esports kind of stuff.
And I think we talked about Schalke doing this because
I think we did. Because various American sports lads have invested in it.
I mean, I'm following the Schalke esports thing for a while.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, no, it's interesting. I mean, I think they've been into it a lot more than PSG. I think they're also doing FIFA, but I think they started with LOL.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's pretty solid base to start
actually, they talked about this same article or this same thing on the BBC on Creighton Crowbar, and they were discussing a bit like why this is happening. And I think my take is basically that. I mean, these clubs, you think of them as football clubs, but I don't know how it is in the UK, but in Germany, a lot of these clubs are actually, they're not only football clubs, like they're also often like in Germany, there will often be a TUS, like they'll be called TUS, like TUS, which is like, or like TV, which is like the Turnverein, like there'll be aerobics. You know, they didn't start out as a football club. They were like founded in 1800 something, and they used to be like in Germany back then. They used to have this thing about like general fitness,
right?
And some of these clubs are also like tennis clubs or something. Like there's not so much the big ones, the big clubs, like Bayern and Dortmund and stuff like that, but like. There's the smaller clubs, like where Katie lives in Hamburg. There's a club next door, which is like they do football, field hockey, tennis, stuff like that. So they often diversify into other sports anyway, and so I think it kind of makes sense for them to do esports, especially because if you see a club like Schalke, who's like an international football club, and the kind of budget they have, and if you think like. What it costs for them to buy like a football player,
yeah,
and then if you see what it costs for them to buy like a whole esports team, it's just like tuppence for them. I mean, they can it's just like a write-off. I think they just tried this and they tried to get in now. Why it's like you still can.
I can see it kind of like I can see it being big, but then again, I remember being a kid and thinking, man, esports are going to be big. Like when I first became aware of StarCraft.
I think Bayern is doing it too. I think Bayern Munich is like buying esports stuff as well. I read at some point.
The more I think about it, the more I think it will be successful, but it's not going to be successful in the ways that like Dota and stuff are successful now. I don't see the kind of popularity of.
You mean esports in general?
Yeah. In esports in general, I don't see MOBAs and like Counter-Strike and stuff like that being the format of games.
Wow, was that like a boy racer going off in the background?
Yeah, it's classic Birmingham. It's great.
Scooby racer.
I don't think that that these kind of the MOBAs and stuff like Counter-Strike are going to be the things that get you to like it being like a $20 billion industry or whatever. I think it's going to be more because as much as I say Dota's great and I quite like League, and I like Heroes of the Storm and all that jazz, like to a person flicking through channels and they go like, oh man, the snooker's on, or like, oh sweet, it's a game of rugby. Like those are fundamentally quite simple games to understand. There might be some complex rulings, but they are fundamentally like ball goes in net, like balls go in hole, easy peasy. Whereas things like Dota and that stuff are just too hard.
Dave.
Yeah?
You're British.
Yeah?
It's gonna say one word.
You're gonna say cricket.
Yes.
Cricket's not that hard.
I understand Dota.
People
I don't understand either baseball or cricket, the way they count and when the game ends. I've never understood that. I never will. Fucking rugby.
Determining when cricket
there's like 3 different things. There's like union. There's like fucking league. It's Aussie rules.
Now.
Yeah, rugby. What's the fucking difference? I don't like what.
What's the difference between rugby and cricket? Oh my god,
Dave. No. What's the Dave between the Dave? What's the Dave between league and union?
It's complicated, Fab.
Dave, explain offside to me in football.
Right.
Passive offside.
That
at that point you might as well just go mid lane. I think.
Okay, so the example is the offside rule is a complicated. Whereas the sell on something like Dota is going to be like, right, so you're all wizards. There are 10 wizards on the field, and everyone's a different wizard, and they've all got their own 4 spells. Sometimes they've got more than 4 spells. This guy, he has different numbers. His spells different depending on which buttons he presses.
Yes.
Like, it's just a fundamentally far more complex problem. I think esports are going to be big in a kind of Rocket League sense because it's football with cars and it's better than football.
I don't think so, because I think what will happen is, think a bit like a historian, right? Think how football was like in 1890 or something, when they didn't have unified rules and they were kicking a fucking pig splatter around.
Right.
Or like, think of like racing sports as they were like in the 40s compared to what Formula 1 is now, where it's like a very like specific rule set. And like Formula 1's a good example because nobody fucking understands the rules. Like,
I understand the rules.
The rules as in like, do you understand like how many like horsepower the car's gonna have? Like what kind of fucking spoilers? Like nobody understands that, and you don't need to. It's still just like cars going fast. And I think what will happen is it will evolve. Like Dota obviously is too fucking complicated. It'll be more something like Overwatch. It'll be something where like, okay, you have 10 different characters, but it's kind of like, you know, if you watch international football now, you gotta understand who like fucking Ronaldo is, and what the difference between Ronaldo and fucking Müller is, and you know how there's all this what erroneously is always called meta. Okay, this is something maybe this tangent time. When they talk about like Crowbar and other gaming quotas, I've been so close to throwing my fucking phone at the wall. It's not fucking meta. Like when they talk about meta in Dota, for example, right? That is not meta. Meta means something about whatever you're talking about. So the meta game, right, would be if I, for example, bet on a game of Dota.
Right.
That would be a meta game, because betting is a game, and it's a game about the game, Dota. That would be a meta game. That would be meta. What you call meta when you talk about Dota is called strategy. Right? Tactics is like what I do on the actual map. Strategy is like what kind of hero I block, and then they block that, whatever, and like the draft thing.
I see your point that meta it's not a good enough abstraction to actually.
Just
be
a
meta.
fucking stupid name. It's wrong.
But it's a stupid name, but I don't know what you pick, because I don't think you can pick tactics and strategies, because those are both things you can have within the actual within a single like hour-long instance of Dota. You can have
you can't.
Tactics of like push like blocking creeps and pulling creeps. I'd say that's a tactic, whereas a strategy is going to be more like team composition and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, but that's what they call, that's part of the meta as well.
But then what they're calling the meta is the whole, I don't want to say higher level gameplay, because higher level implies people playing at a better level. I mean, the kind of like, what is popular now, like...
It's just different strategy.
Because
like,
it's not like football, where like,
no.
Oh man, the physics is different on the ball this year because the ball because the definition of a kilogram has changed now, so the ball behaves differently. It's not like that. It's like literally the numbers defining the game are currently different. So,
no, it's like war. If you talk about war, let's see Second World War, right? Tactics is like you're in the fucking Ardennes, right? And you need to, like, we send our tanks there. That's tactics. Strategy is like, where do we deploy our tank battalions? But strategy is also like, last year, when we were attacking the Soviet Union and when we were driving through Poland, super heavy tanks were in because they worked really well. But this year, we're getting up to Moscow, and it's like the fucking tundra, and it's bogs. Right? So super heavy tanks are really shit this year because we're in the fucking mud.
I suppose
it's not meta, it's strategy.
If you call both of those things strategy, if you call
you do
game thing strategy, and then also the things surrounding the game strategy, it's a very syntactically difficult thing to talk about. If you just call it, there is the strategy in the game and then there's the meta game, it becomes very clear with the distinction of conversation.
Might be, but it's the wrong name for it.
But if we keep using it, then it does the meaning of meta not change.
Yeah, it does, but you're still dumb. Because Sun Tzu and Clausewitz called it fucking strategy, and that's why it's called strategy. Listen to Art of War, man. Listen to Art of War.
Who's laughing now? I'm alive playing video games, and they are dead.
Still, listen to Art of War. You know, it's strategy. It's not meta. Meta means about something. It is not about something if it's the actual game. Like, team composition is the actual fucking game. That's like if you said with football, right? If you said with football, well, the substitutions are the meta game. No, they're not. They're part of the game.
Because it's like considering the scale of the thing. So you have the strategy.
No, it's not
your instance of thing. The meta game describes at the moment, like.
What at the moment Müller is good because he's good.
I think it's a genuinely different thing.
So what you mean is like with football, it would be at the moment, like, you know, tiki-taka was the meta game at some point, you know, because everybody was playing tiki-taka. Now it's like whatever, it's like attack football, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Still strategy.
It's one of those things. I'm like, man, metagame is a term for this.
Like, we can't put it in the Book of Grudges because we don't agree.
No, yeah, because it's just so applicable. It is ingrained in me that I know that the fluff surrounding an instance of game, like,
mate,
it's been a meta. Like, everything has a meta. The Hearthstone meta, like fucking Fallout meta.
Just because everybody's dumb doesn't mean it's right. It just means they're all dumb.
We're both wrong, Fab. What meta really means is a second Twitter account where you make fun of yourself. That's what meta means.
Okay, we can agree on that. Can it have dongs? That's the consensus tonight. Oh shit, I spilled red wine on the Book of Grudges.
No, but it's a red book, it's fine.
That's going to be a grudge. Anyway, where were we? It's been over 2 hours, mate.
Bowser Will sent us a video
And yes,
of
it's
the
my
Hamilton
fault.
Incident. It's a thing.
Oh yeah, I haven't completely seen that, but it's like a machinima they did in Elite in the beta with like the beta. What's wrong with me? The meta, the beta, the beta. Why is it beta but meta? See, this is like the English language. Makes no fucking sense. But it's good, and it shows that the new camera
it's
really awesome.
Really nice. I watched it, and I was just like, they need to make the EVE Online Clear Skies machinima again in Elite, because it'll be very pretty, and that is the best.
I know you're
machinima
going
ever
to
made.
Iceland and everything.
Yeah.
You know, but like, just be prepared. Eve is dead.
It's totally not.
So Eve is dead. Star Citizen's not gonna happen. Mass Effect has shitty facial animations. Elite is the space game.
Is it though?
That's a new meta. The meta of space games. Where is the tea?
Where is the tea? Yes. Where's
in my belly.
In my belly. So, whereas the T replied to our chat about off-color.
Oh yeah, the Nazi uniforms.
Saying colored Nazis are a parody on the digitally colored version of a Soviet series 17 Moments of Spring. Totally botched it. I will take your word for that. I don't really know what that means.
To which I say, donning my top hat, streaking my face with ash. Shadow Aspect 91 says, I'm loading the tweet. It's Adam Harris. Friday Unwind, courtesy of the recommendation from Geek News Radio. Lucky enough to have seen The Gentleman Rhymer. TW?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Is that like he's seen it
Is that
probably?
slang?
It's the Hitler Gift song. And if he's actually seen him live, I'm envious because he sounds like a cool chap. Also, have you heard the song "Brokes or Shell Toes"?
I have. Yeah, I have. That's good.
So good, so good. Oh, the one. Ladies have friends who they hate. It's also very good. It's a very controversial song on the gender question. Anyway, go on.
Fab on genders.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking booze. Talisker Sky, single Scotch whiskey.
Sounds
single
good.
malt. My God, I can't.
Single Scotch.
Maybe I should stop, Fab. Maybe I should stop.
I'm drinking single Scotch.
Drinking the booze.
Is Ellie not around?
And it's not around.
I get it now. This is also why this is like Mass Effect After Dark. I like it. Not that I don't mind when Ellie's there, because she puts you in your place sometimes, which is also nice.
There's been no heckling about color of grapes.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually that might have been the podcast moment of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, man, I'm so thick.
What do you mean, Dave?
You posted a photo of you in your top hat, to which Stu Hacking out hats you entirely. Because he says you need to buy the pith helmet, Fab. You need to buy all the hats, because he has a steampunk top hat, he has a pith helmet, and he has a really, really tall top hat.
I think Eck can't possibly see any. You can't have a taller. That's like fucking Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
He looks good. He's got like a coat on as well.
Yeah, it's good. I think he should wear that stovepipe. Is that the name of the hat?
Yeah, I think that's stovepipe. Yeah,
I don't really know. I think he should wear that hat all the time.
Yeah, mine
or
actually.
The incense burner to the pith helmet.
Yeah, I like the steampunk goggles as well, though. It's good pith helmet as well. Like for my picture, there's a story to that. So I was like, the hat was new, and I was walking out. Like when you walk out here, like in Isenhang where I live, it's like fucking middle of nowhere, and you walk out over the fields. There's like an area that I think used to be like moorlands or something. And it's like a little wood or something. And I was like walking there, and people looked at me funny because of the hat. But then I was like sitting down, like in a little like wood on a bench, and smoking my pipe. And it got dark.
Yeah.
And there's like people walking with dogs and like running and shit. And it turns out people are like really, really fucking disturbed if you're sitting in the dark on a park bench in a top hat looking at them.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit unsettled by that.
I can only recommend it. It's fucking amazing.
This guy doesn't give a fuck. He's wearing a top hat.
It's like it's like voodoo. Like James, that was like a proper James Delaney moment.
He's going,
He's got a good hat game. Like there's lots of pictures. Stu has like it's a great fedora. I like it.
More hats.
I'm all for hats. That would also solve like the hair problem in Mass Effect. You know. They just need better hats.
Yeah, just more hats, just beanies, just like big hats to hide the hair. But nothing fluffy, because then that's going to have like rigid walled, very sleek hats, maybe like helmets.
Top hats.
Yeah, maybe top hats. I think I might show like maybe a bit too much hair. Like gives you maybe the opportunity.
Yeah, just be bold and top hats.
Just bald and top hats.
Yeah.
Cool.
Solved it for you, BioWare.
Tweet from, oh my god, I can't read this username.
What?
Hitoko. Oh, fuck.
Well, you're the enemy. Man.
Doesn't mean I'm competent, Fab. Yes.
You're more qualified than me.
At Geek News Radio.
Hito Kohitori.
Let's go with that. That sounds good to me. At Geek News
There's
Radio.
probably some Japanese swear word.
Yeah, man, we fucked that. I'm so sorry. Please tell me you will make a live show.
I'm not.
Fab's in the flight suit with a top hat. Mega's Lippert with his fur. I resent this. This makes me sound like a furry. I'm not a furry.
Well, as Professor Elemental says, I don't know why they dig the furry. You know why everyone picks on the furries. So good if you want to be dressed as a fox while you bang people. You know it's all about the banging.
No yiff. Yiff.
I'm okay. I'm good. It's all.
People can yiff. I do not wish to participate in the yiff.
See, people think I'm like a fucking Tory. And like I judge everybody, but like if it works for you, it's okay. So what's the yiff? Oh shit! I broke the show.
Don't Google it.
How do you spell it?
Right, open an incognito window.
Okay, it's that kind of thing. You don't know what I've searched on this computer,
and then type in YIFF.
YIFF. Okay. Privacy reminder from Google. Furry fandom, Wikipedia. Examples of sexual aspects with furry fandom include erotic art and furry-themed cybersex. Image search.
Oh, God.
Well, yeah, I've seen that kind of stuff. It's not that bad. Come on.
It's not what I want to be into, Fab. It's not what I want people to associate my brand with.
It's
call in the lawyers.
I can understand that. It's not as bad as the Overwatch porn up, though. I mean, that's...
Is it not?
No, there's some fucking heavy stuff on that, dude.
Oh god.
I've seen things done that I shouldn't.
C-beams off the shoulder of Orion.
Yeah, basically, off the shoulder of Anna.
Oh god.
C-beams actually fits as well. Let's change the topic. What's the next tweet, Dave?
The next topic is from literally Nicholas. I'm 5 min into Mega Slipper's Metal Gear Solid Rabbit Hole. The percentage of words that make any sense has dropped below 50.
Well,
Bonkers.
That completely happened to like as I said, like 2 times. I was listening back to it. It's like I could hear myself just going. My brain is going, what? That was just like this is just Mass Effect. No, Metal Gear Solid. Sorry, Mass Effect actually. Yeah, well, does that make sense? Bit more.
Yeah.
It's easier to follow. Let's put
It's
that.
easier to follow. There's less bullshit.
Yeah.
There's significantly less bullshit. It's quite.
Ashish Gansara _mycookie1 on Twitter says, Avatar says no tea for you. Kind of like that. Says, Geek News Radio, I would like to point out that Yuri on Ice is a very delightful anime. Certainly more than one way for quite a lot of people. Certainly more than one
Because
way.
people have mega crushes on the characters. They're like, oh,
Okay.
wouldn't it be nice? And the follow-up to tweet from them is, and Psychopass is excellent if you like Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is also great just to watch again and again and again.
Isn't the new movie coming out now?
The new movie comes out on Friday,
I wanna
and it's
see
going
that.
to be dog shit.
Why?
Oh, because like I don't even understand. Like I saw.
You're a purist, aren't you? It's that again.
Well,
Old man Dave. Back in my day, the anime
man,
was better.
back in 1995 when they made good anime.
Ah.
I don't know. So like that. There's the problem of like, man, what is with the Asian people not being in the things in Japan? That is an interesting question.
Don't be racist. They can be other people.
I mean, they can't. But the fact that it takes place in Japan is like significant to the plot, let alone to the
Like,
representation.
can't there be like people of other like ethnicities in Japan?
But not like everyone.
Would be a problem if they were
Fucking
black.
everyone.
Can they be like all female and black?
I mean, they could be. But
Would it be okay if they were Jews?
I mean, we don't. We don't know, fam. We just don't know. They could be, for all we know. And it wouldn't.
What would be if they were Germans? Yes,
But
it's the ghost in the shell.
Is that from the trailers that have discussed more of the plot? I'm just like, what? But that isn't the point of any of this.
You know what? I'm gonna watch it. I'm just gonna love it.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna watch it and think it's the prettiest film ever made. Like to be clear, it has got a strong aesthetic that I really want to be on board with. But also, like, I bought the original film on Blu-ray and I've watched it a couple of times. I watched that
A
again.
couple. That's an understatement.
No, I mean like within the last 2 weeks. Like,
How often have you watched it in the last 2 weeks?
I've watched it twice in the last 2 weeks.
Okay, that's more than I watched Taboo. You're a fucking nutter.
But it's only like what 140 minutes or something. Not 140 minutes. It's like a 1 hour 40. It's not that bad.
Okay, Taboo's 8 hours, so yeah.
Yeah, I could probably bash it out
But, like,
this evening after this.
Flintlock pistols. Ah, fuck that. The way they like fire when they just go. Is it? Could I have a flintlock pistol? I think that's still under like gun laws. Fuck.
I bet it is.
Really
Like,
want to
it's
have
not-
a flintlock. Like that's fucking atrocious. Because to be honest, a flintlock pistol is about like a fucking axe is a more lethal weapon. To be honest, like you can't really like you can kill one person and then you're fair game, right? Like it's like an axe. Like you can if you have a flintlock pistol and you want to do like a terror attack, right? You can if you're really good, you can shoot one person, and then while you're like putting a new ball in and black powder, they're just gonna rip you apart with their hands.
Okay,
it's
so
like an
saying,
axe.
like a kitchen knife is
Yeah, it should apply. Yeah, it should be. There should be like the same laws as a kitchen knife.
an exemption for
I mean,
people who want to own flintlock pistols.
Yeah, you can probably use it for like something useful,
Probably
like a
pipe,
kitchen
probably
knife.
Dual-use flintlock pistol and smoking pipe.
You could probably just if you have to crack like a coconut,
Just whack
just
it.
shoot it with a.
Man, that's why it's restricted, because it's quite deadly as a club. Probably is more deadly as a club.
It's so good in Taboo. It's like when in the end they have like a big fighting scene and they're like all the muskets And they're like shooting once, and there's like smoke everywhere, and then like, oh, you have to put the powder in, and you put the ball in, and you have like this stick that you have to like, put the thing in. Ah, it's so good. So good. It's got like an actual flint on the. So good. Dave's googling flintlock pistols.
They're pretty. They're quite. I can
See
I can see why you want one.
It's like I never knew what I really liked about Pillars of Eternity, but it's like that. They have like flintlock weapons, and I really like that. Like in a fantasy game. Also, they look like fucking like out there. I mean, it's like Taboo. It's like set in 1814.
Yeah.
Which is like not that, like, if you think that, like, I don't know what, like, when was like the Navy cold? When was that? Like, oh god. So the Navy cold, it's like the thing in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's like in 1851, I think it was made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Google that, right? Google Navy cold. It's like the cold 1851 Navy revolver. Like, that I used that as the 6-gun logo for a while because it's basically my favorite gun. And if you think that's basically the same weapon, because they still had to put like, it was a lot smaller, but they still had to put like a ball in and basically like a black powder charge, although they had like paper, like basically like cartridges, but they were made out of paper, and they had that for flintlock pistols later as well. So it's basically the same thing, and this is like 50 years later, but it looks completely like it looks like a complete paradigm shift. I mean, the flintlock pistols, like your Pirates of the Caribbean kind of, it looks like a prop. It looks.
But then, suddenly that's like, man, that's basically a modern gun.
Yeah, and the Navy Colt is like not from the way it works that much, but it looks so much more like sleek and modern. It's just like, oh god, I'm probably a gun geek. I used to be really anti-gun.
Really?
When we did Linux Outlaws at some point, like, well, I still think like the German gun laws compared to, let's say, and the UK ones compared to like the American ones are a good idea. But I've come a little bit around. I think flintlock pistols should just be like kitchen knives, like Nerf. I mean, they're just like, you can kill somebody with that, but you might as well just stab them. I mean, look at that thing. Like, if you rob a bank with that. So the flintlock pistol, you rob a bank with that. They're gonna fucking laugh at you, aren't they? Like, give me all the money in your cash register, sir.
Your money or your life.
yeah, you have to wear a top hat.
All the doubloons.
all the sovereigns or your life. I think you are then, like, you should be compelled to speak in an accent like that and wear a top hat.
Yeah, the moment at which you buy a flintlock pistol, you instantly become the most Tory.
It's just cool though. Like in the last episode of Taboo. Well, there's a bit of a showdown, right? Mm-hmm. And Delaney in the fight, he basically has 2 flintlock pistols. It's just like Lara Croft, but they're like just like it's Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just cool. Like it. Like if you look at the mechanism, just look at like a close up of the flintlock mechanism. Mm-hmm. Like you have like this thing where you where you squeeze in like the flint. It's like, this is like fucking Stone Age technology. You actually need a flint, and you then have this metal kind of like, I don't know, thing. It's like a spring at the bottom, and then you have this like thing that holds the black powder, and the flint actually strikes the stuff at the top, and then like little like sparks fly down. Like if it's raining, it's not gonna like work. How would this work in Britain when it's like damp all the time? Like, it wouldn't work here. It's like fucking fog all the time. It gets wet and then you can't fire. I'm sorry, I'll have to retreat from this bank robbery because my gun won't fire. But if you follow me, I'm gonna whack you over the head with it. This is why it's shaped like a cudgel as well. Yeah. Anyway, where were we? How did we go from Mass Effect to what the fuck, Dave? What the fuck's going on?
I don't know anymore, Fab. Should we round it out?
It's my Tory self.
That's all the feedback.
Right, if you're still listening to this, actually,
Half a medal.
what the fuck? This is like the N7 equivalent of podcasting. If you made it to here, you can survive anything. You can go listen to No Agenda. Because at this point, this is the GNR N7 medal.
Oh, we should make those. I don't know what they'd look like.
Yeah, the soft podcast survival.
Yeah.
You can use that font. Didn't they use the same font in Andromeda, aren't they?
Yes.
What's that called again? Murotaki?
I have literally no idea.
It's like Euro style. It's like one of these really 70s geometrical fonts.
Yeah.
And to Google that because I'm a font nerd, so I can't.
Yes.
We can't end this show before I find out what it's called. I knew what it's called. I have it somewhere because I collect fonts. It doesn't say. Dave, no. I don't know what. Turkey. See how good Google is. It's my drunken. No, it's not Murasaki.
You wake up tomorrow like, why was I Googling?
Furries. It's not. What's the font used for the Normandy? Korataki, that's it. Korataki it's called. It's like this really 70s looking. Anyway, sorry. That's all right. You were trying to end the show.
I was
2.5
attempting
hours.
to do that. If you would like to email us, I don't know why you do that, but you could do that at GNR@sixgun.org. You can tweet us both at Geeks News Radio. You can tweet Fab individually
At Fabsh, why would you want to do that?
so you can get embroiled in like day-long arguments.
About Mass Effect facial animations.
Yeah. You can tweet me at Megaslippers. We have a Facebook group where we sometimes post things. We've got a Steam group where we don't do anything.
I should do stuff there.
We should probably do things sometime there.
I'm busy with journalism, I'm sorry.
Discord things because like it's good. We have chats about like the ethics of software engineering. It's good.
Discord.sixgun.org.
Boston.
Is that your sign off?
Yes.
Boston?
Boston, man, it's like it's Brummy slang for like good. Apparently it went out of fashion in the 90s, so I'm bringing it back. Boston.